He thought he was in control. How wrong he was.
Come to the dark side driving. It's the dark side driving. Come to the dark side driving. It's the dark side driving movie club.
From the deepest corner of the darkest universe, two brave hosts battle through nameless hordes of ghoulish monsters most foul, all to bring you the eternal glory of the Dark Side Drive-In.
It's the dark side driving. It's the dark side driving. Come to the dark side driving. It's the dark side driving movie club. It's the dark side driving. Come to the dark side driving. It's the dark side driving. It's the dark side driving movie club.
Hey, what's up? It's Shane with Dynamis Media, and I'm joined here with Stefan.
What up?
And a very special guest today, McMurray.
It's me. Hello.
The namesake of our McMurder of the movie segment.
Of the McMurder fame.
The same.
So,
and eagle-eyed listeners might recognize his voice from the Chopping Mall episode.
Man, you're just really stealing my thunder.
It's the Park Plaza
There
Mall.
I knew, because last time you said it, so I wanted to really just like steal your thunder and just get you off kilter.
So
for
if
this.
anyone's,
I'm gonna start you out on your heels, baby.
Yeah. So if anyone's wondering, the date of this, why it's so late, we had some technical difficulties that have caused us to re-record this, and I guess Stefan's mission now is to take any bit that I did from the last episode and apply it to his bits now, which is great. That's great for an introduction, guys, because I have all this material now that Stefan's going to take. So, Stefan, why don't you do the intro? Go ahead.
What was happening again? I can't remember what we were saying.
Good.
Yeah, so we did do, this is gonna be take 2 of Ghoulies 3, otherwise known as Ghoulies Go to College. Sometimes Ghoulies 3 : Ghoulies Go to College, sometimes just Ghoulies 3, and sometimes just Ghoulies Go to College.
Sometimes just colon.
I think yeah, well, depending on the time of day. And also there was something really weird that happened, which is that I think it's on Tubi, it's actually Ghoulies : Ghoulies Go to College. I'm like, that's so weird. Like, what, as part of the Ghoulies saga, you're not going to give it the number though? That was it.
How's it feel? How's it feel? Like, I just wanted you to. How's it feel?
It feels good.
Yeah.
I feel amazing. This has been. I had a concert I went to last night, and even though I'm old, I had a really good time. So I'm like fully energized right now.
Good.
Oh, was that the Ailstorm concert?
It was Ailstorm. Yeah. So it was Ailstorm, and they were the headliner, and then the openers were Glyph and Elven King. A little bit disappointed because Elven King didn't have their violinist, and I really love a violinist in like a metal band. You guys know that about me. But Glyph, they are like a power metal band that has this like space kind of sci-fi like storytelling thing. And apparently that was only their 6th show ever, and you would not have known it because they killed, dude. They're like the very first opener. They were amazing. I bought one of their shirts. I was just like, I got to support this band.
Cool. Well,
sorry, Shane, I'm trying to have a conversation on the podcast. Like, it's a purely audio medium.
No, you're good. So, we are covering Ghoulies Go to College today, which I think is the best Ghoulies. I think everyone here agrees, right?
No,
what?
I don't. And I think you know that. And I think you're gaslighting me again. I'm being gaslit.
Yeah, well, sometimes you need it.
I've said it. I've said it before. My favorites are the 2s of the big 3 little creepy little monster things. I like Gremlins 2, the new batch. I like Critters 2, the main course, and I like Ghoulies 2, the one where they go to a carnival. So if you ever want to know how I feel about creepy thing movies, that's the order for all of them except Munchies, because the second Munchies is actually Munchie and it is terrible. Mystery Science Theater 3000 covered it. That's how bad it is.
Wait, so do they go from multiple munchies to a singular munchie?
Oh yeah, and he isn't even like it's like it went from like a creepy little guys movie is what you call them, right, McMurray? Creepy little guys, or is that
That is
yeah?
true.
You call these movies creepy little guy movies, and they go from creepy little guy movie to like mascot comedy. It's like one munchie like wears a leather jacket and gets into hijinks, like throws a party at these kids' house and stuff, and gets them in trouble with their parents. It's so dumb. I think it's directed by like Jim Wynorski. It's like what was the plan here? And now I have to look that up because I'm not doing an apology on behalf of Munchie. I'm just not doing it. How do you spell Munchie?
So part of the reason we decided to even do this movie in the first place is because I actually haven't seen any creepy little guy movies, and I really want to because that seems like it would be perfectly within my wheelhouse. So what other logical place to start than Ghoulies 3?
It's where I'd start.
I mean, although the Ghoulie movies are like absent any actual continuity. Like the first one is like in a house where like the Ghoulies are summoned with an ancient magic tome and they just like help this dude who wants to do like wizard power shit. And then the second one is, like I said, the Ghoulies like join a like traveling carnival, like a circus. But this is the first one where the Ghoulies talk, which is a big part of the quote unquote comedy of this movie. And I know that I like this movie, so you might be like, why am I saying it like that? But in my opinion, like they basically never shut up and they just throw jokes at the wall at like 1,000 miles an hour. And it's like maybe 1 out of every 4 hits, but they do it so fast that I didn't notice like, oh, that there was 3 misses and 1 hit. And that's how like the 25% hit rate. But if you have a machine gun, that's not bad.
I will say with the 1 in 4 success rate, some of those are absolute club bangers of jokes. Like I had some like true laugh out louds or lulls for the kids at some of the Ghoulie jokes.
All the youths, that's a lull for you. But not a raffle, just a lull.
There was 1 or 2 raffles.
Was there an LMAO?
Quite a few LMAOs, even a couple LMFAOs.
Whoa.
Slow down there, man. That was
about to get canceled.
Yeah,
now.
really. Whew. Can't swear Stefan's mom will stop listening to us.
She's not going to be appreciative that I ratted her out is the reason that I try not to swear too much.
I think it's funny. But so before we get kind of further into the movie, why don't we do some quick housekeeping? Stefan's review of Suitable Flesh is up.
I finally badgered you enough that you put it up, even though I sent it to you on like January
in
28th.
Front of all of our friends.
Yeah, I was in a group chat where I just like roasted you for it.
Yeah, so thank you. Appreciate it. Also appreciate you.
I wrote it to coincide with that movie, like Suitable Flesh going onto Shudder, and here we are like 2 months later. Like, come on, man.
Well, according to what's happening with Tubi, maybe we have to write these reviews a couple weeks late to keep the blood flowing. But other stuff, we're working on some other shows. We've got some ideas. There might be some rumors kicking around internally that some shows might come back. So you'll hear some more from us. I'm probably going to get yelled at for saying that, but who cares? But probably the most important housekeeping is going to be done by our esteemed colleague here, who is the front man for Rebel Revolver. So why don't you take it away, man? Why don't you pimp out the band, your socials, all that stuff?
That's true. I am indeed the front man for Rebel Revolver. If you want to give our music a listen, beyond the Park Plaza Mall jingle, it's available on Spotify and Apple Music and all of those related music type applications. We are also available on all the social media. If you want to check us out live, we always post a few weeks ahead of time, anytime we have a show coming up. A couple dates of note. We are going to be playing at the Millvale Music Festival this year. We don't have a time or a stage as of this recording, but if you keep an eye on like our Facebook or our Instagram, we'll be posting that date and time and location whenever we have that information available.
So I think, and I know we're doing this again, but last time you said you were given a pretty interesting genre name. Could you share what that is? Like what your music is classified as?
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Yes, so we recently did a battle of the bands, the Spark Battle of the Bands, in fact, and didn't win, but we the judges gave us some pretty high reviews and some high praise, including that a new genre name for us that I really appreciated. He called us blues punk, which is something that, yeah, I'm definitely into describing our sound as that. So, yeah, if you think you would like blues punk and you want to give us a shot, check us out.
And if you're thinking yourself right now, is it blues mixed with punk music, or is it some kind of weird bastardization of cyberpunk, but with blues? Both apply. So definitely go to Spotify, give them a listen. New album is great. I have some favorites that seemingly none of you like on your album, which is hilarious to me, but that's usually how it goes, right? Your favorite songs aren't everybody else's favorite songs. So,
that's true.
And for those in the Pittsburgh area that might be wondering, the Millville Music Festival is the weekend of the 17th. So I think it's like the 17th and the 18th. We may not know when Rebel Revolver is going to be playing, but that is when the show is. I checked on Facebook real fast while you guys were talking. I figured maybe throw that out there just for people in the Pittsburgh area who might be interested.
Of which month? It's June, right?
Oh, I didn't say the month?
You did not.
May.
No. Oh, May. Well, news to me.
Well,
yeah. May 17th and May 18th is when it is. Wow, saying the month is important. There's like a 17th in every month and an 18th in every month. Hold on, let me check my notes. Yeah, there's definitely those in every month. So
that's so wild.
What are the odds?
Is time the same in blues punk world?
I mean, don't put it on them that I didn't say the month. That was me. I was the idiot who did that. But no, yeah. So, and if anyone wants to hang out with me in the meat space, I will almost certainly be there. I go to see Rebel Revolver play frequently.
And they have a cool app. So like download the app. Super helpful. Cool. Stefan, any housekeeping you got? Anything else?
I'm actually working on a review for Dune Part 2.
Hell yeah.
Because I just saw it again, and it was really, really great. Just as great as it was the first time around. So I'm writing a review about that, but I really need to do the Lisan Al Gaib proud.
Yeah.
It was actually a super funny situation. So it was on Sunday that I was like sleeping on my couch, and I get a call at 9:30, and it's all of our friend Seymour, also of Rebel Revolver, who is calling me to be like, hey, do you want to go see Dune? But he almost never responds to texts at all, let alone calls. So I was like, oh no, someone's been killed.
Right, yeah, it's important.
So I answered the phone, and he's just like, hey, I want to go see Dune at 10:30. You down? I was like, hell yeah, I'm down. Let's do this. And McMurray was there.
It's so good.
I was. Oh, it ruled so hard.
Cool. Well, speaking of movies that roll so hard, why don't we get into today's movie with the cast and crew? Kick it off.
Wrong. We have to do your segment.
What is it called?
I think that I want to call it the creepy questionnaire.
So we've had some really, really good suggestions come from some friends of the show.
The spooky spunk.
Spooky spunk. That's it. That's what we're done. Got it. The spooky stumptacular. Get that spooky spunk all around. It's like Casper in his teenage years. It's like, oh,
gross.
Isn't Casper permanently a teenager? Isn't that he's dead? Anyways,
I think he's a child.
Is he a child? He was like
I think he's like full on, just a kid.
But when he was humanized in the movie, the Christina Ricci,
he
was like
the one
teenager.
movie is that full canon?
I don't know, dude. Who owns it? Archie Comics. Let's call up the president of Archie Comics and be like, what is canon for? Like, what's Casper's canon age? So, anyways,
so right now we're
Spooky Stumptacular was the other name.
Yeah, Spooky Stumptacular and Creepy Questionnaire. So we have a couple names. So let us know what you think. Usually people aren't shy to tell us if they don't like something. So go ahead and reach out on socials. We got Instagram. We're on X. We're on Facebook. All either Dark Side Drive-In or The Dark Side Drive-In, depending on what asshole took our name on which platform. But last time, and this actually was pretty popular. I was surprised so many people commented on the Instagram post. We usually have our usual knuckleheads on Facebook. Looking at you, Eric. So the question was, which 2003 film features a killer tooth fairy? And Stefan, your guess was?
It was Darkness Falls.
Darkness Falls. And that's what everyone else said. So congrats to everyone. Your streak is alive. What are you at, 2 or 3 now?
I don't know. I never want to comment on a streak because when I do, that's when I lose.
Oh boy,
Like I get brought low.
I got one for you today. So during our first recording of this, and I'll read this because this was a gimme. It was kind of an inside joke for all of us. So the question was, which 1922 vampire film featured a character of Count Orlok? And obviously, Stefan, it's
Nosferatu.
Yeah, so the joke
The
is
Symphony des Grauens.
Yeah. So the joke is, if anyone's ever been with Stefan, at some point in the time you're there, you're going to start watching this movie, whether you want to or not. I think McMurray, you've gotten
if you're
this
friends
a
with
couple
me, I
times.
will. He's gone with me twice to see Nosferatu. I think
It's true. Once in a regular screening and once with a musical accompaniment, like a live musical accompaniment, and that was my favorite. That the dude like wrote his own score to it, and just like, oh man, he absolutely
That's
crushed
awesome.
it. Like, just played piano the whole time and like set up a series of leitmotifs, and we got to like have a Q&A with him afterwards.
and he signed
highly
posters
recommend
of it too. It was Tom Roberts. And he signed posters
Yes,
at the
that's
end.
right. Thank you.
I know that because I have the signed poster framed on my wall, and I can look up from my, like, it's like right above my office space. So I just like look up and I see his name like every day. So that's how I remember his name. But yeah, that was awesome. That one, that was at the Harris Theater, right, where they play like a lot of culturally significant things. And it's for the centennial of Nosferatu. It was like a 100-year anniversary screening. But yeah, basically
It was fantastic.
Yeah,
I highly recommend going back in time and going to see it in that form.
go back in time and see it done again. I wonder if he ever ended up releasing his like soundtrack for it, the one that he wrote, like the score that he wrote, because that'd be really cool if you could get a file of it and just play it alongside the movie, like sync it up. Because I think that he mentioned that would be a cool thing to do, but I don't know if he was ever able to release it in any form. But yeah, the entire idea though is, if you're friends with me, I'll eventually make you go watch Nosferatu with me, or try to. Not everyone does. I think you guys are a couple. There's others that I've made go. Because like the beauty of it is, it's so old that it's like public domain. Like no one has to pay money to screen it. So it's like usually part of maybe like a Halloween themed like silent film thing like Shane and I went to, or like just something that like a theater will play as a one-off. I think it's played at like, I've seen it at the Waterfront before, down at the AMC Lowe's down there. And I've seen it I guess the Harris, the Row House, and then the AMC Lowe's has played it. But I'm sure other places have too. I don't go to every screening of Nosferatu. I just go to most screenings of Nosferatu.
Certainly all the ones in the area.
As many as I can get to, yeah. A movie that I have on Blu-ray and on DVD. I have 2 copies of it.
So unfortunately for you today, you will not be so lucky. So, and I'm going to give this a shot. So
the world is the poorer for it.
The world is a vampire. All right.
Just like Count Orlok.
It's time for the creepy questionnaire.
Wham, wham, wham. Air horns.
And sued. So
Frankie Valli's coming for us now.
So I really liked McMurray. I really liked your idea. So I'm gonna do that every time now, but I want you to do the first one.
Oh,
It's time to play a game.
Perfect. Insert dramatic music.
Sued again, but this time by Saw?
It's like a Who song. Won't get sued again.
James Wan, I guess.
So, last couple times we've been doing trivia, and they've been fun, but I want to go back to the hard one, which we call Describe It. It's spooky taboo, but so what we were doing before is I was trying to describe the movie, not using the forbidden words, but the forbidden words usually don't help you guess the movie. So
yeah, wasn't the one like supernatural ghost and something? It's like, I don't know, dude.
So,
like, what do you want me to do?
So here's how this is gonna work. You're gonna have 4 clues. The first 3 are gonna be the forbidden words, and the last one's gonna be the year the movie came out. Okay. And once I give each clue, you guys are gonna offer a guess, and then we'll move on and then see if you change your answer. Okay.
All right.
First clue.
All right. You're not gonna ask me if I'm ready and I can say my catchphrase?
Are you ready?
I'm the readiest I've ever been.
We've been fucking up a lot today.
We're all discombobulated because of having to do this twice.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to bring a new energy that the people are going to love.
Yeah, the big dick energy, right?
You know I hate that
I know.
phrase.
I love it. Anyways, first word, shark.
Shark?
Shark. You guys want to level a guess here?
I mean,
Deep Blue Sea.
Okay.
I'll go with Sharknado.
All right.
2 of the most iconic shark movies. I'm sure there's not a bigger one.
Certainly not.
Second word, beach.
Oh,
come on.
Well, it's not Sharknado now because isn't that in LA?
It's not Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah, that's true.
What? Oh, yeah. That's true. It's not. I guess I'll go with sand sharks.
Okay, so sand sharks.
I'm actually gonna take the bait here and say Jaws.
Okay.
No, can't be.
Okay. All right. Third clue, surfing.
I'm gonna change to the
Blue Crush.
Blue Crush.
Sorry.
The greatest horror movie.
Is there a shark? Soul Surfer, the one where the chick gets her arm bit off.
Oh my god.
No. I'm actually gonna say The Shallows.
Okay.
Are you guys familiar with The Shallows? The one with Blake Lively?
I am not.
Bro, that movie rules.
Is that the one where she's like stuck on a buoy?
Yeah, that movie rules, dude. Like, I have it on DVD. Like, what an underrated little shark movie it is. It's like really interesting. I recommend it wholeheartedly.
Okay. So
Nice.
McMurray, what's your guess?
Did he change to?
I don't
he changed
know,
to Blue
I'm-
Crush.
Oh, okay.
Didn't you hear him?
Okay.
Yeah, it was Blue Crush. That's right. I don't
So-
think there's a shark in that movie.
Final-
Whatever.
I mean, there's implied.
Yeah,
to
there's
be
definitely
one,
a shark in
right?
that
'Cause
water eventually. At some point.
it's in the ocean somewhere. There's definitely a shark.
Well, it is the
Yeah, there's
ocean.
it's shark adjacent.
Yeah, I mean, you don't tell me there's not one
Yeah,
in there,
it's point-
because I will say you're
Point
a liar.
Break. No, so the last clue, which is the year, is 2016.
Oh, then yeah, I'm gonna keep The Shallows as my
Okay,
guess.
McMurray?
I'm definitely sticking with that.
You going with Jaws?
With
Yeah,
Jaws.
going right back with. Actually, you know what? Jaws 2, the Jaws ending.
I don't think Jaws 2 has a subtitle.
Really?
No, the only Jaws that has a subtitle, I think, is The Revenge, the 4th one.
Oh.
All right. Well,
Oh shit, it's on Tubi.
damn. So
The Shallows is on Tubi. That's what I'm saying.
good shit. All right. Well,
Interrupting.
Jesus fucking Christ.
All right.
Nah, go for it.
Continue.
No.
No, I did. I just wanted to get in your nerves, and I think I did. So my mission is
Yeah,
accomplished.
that happened about 23 minutes ago. But so all right. Well, that's our first ever creepy questionnaire. Let us know how we did. Please.
Or spooky stumptacular, depending
Well, that's
on,
gonna be next time.
on which
We're gonna
Oh, so
pilot
it's gonna
both of them and
change.
see how it goes.
we could put like put one of them. What do you call those things where people vote? A poll. We could put a poll up.
A poll.
Yeah.
Pool?
Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember in season 2 of Frisky Dingo and Killface was running for president against Xander Cruz, and then Mr. Ford was on the news program, and then it's like how are they doing in the polls? And Mr. Ford is like, I got a poll for you right here, and then it like waits a full beat, and the guy starts to talk again. He's like talking about my penis. It's like it's so funny.
Solid. Well, the laws of nature demand that we go to the cast and crew next. I think we've languished enough in our game show shenanigans. But
yeah, we it's time to do cast and crew. So let's get it. Let's just like get going on
let's
it.
Let's just do it.
Let's just do this.
Let's just get it done. What do you think, McMurray?
Let's get them.
Oh my God, no! Not the shoes.
What is that?
Not the shoes person.
What's that from? Oh, is that Kelly? The shoes?
Shoes.
Also, oh yeah, I can't remember what I was gonna say. All right,
it's probably a lie, right?
I know. Hey, didn't I say that last time we recorded? If you forgot, it must be a lie. That's something my grandma used to say to me all the time.
You told me that yesterday, or 2 days ago, and I almost fought you over the phone. My teacher used to say that.
Oh, yeah, it was when you called
Yeah.
me. Yeah, well, here's the thing. If you call me, you never know what kind of energy you're going to get. So, all right, director. It's John Carl Buechler. It's spelled Buechler, but I looked it up and it's Buechler. So he's got tons of stuff that he's done because he has like my makeup and special effects credits in addition to directing credits. So tons of movies to go through as a director. The Dungeon Master, Troll, the movie that came before Troll 2 but is not related to Troll 2. You guys are familiar with Troll 2, right? The best
kid pisses on their
ever.
food.
Yeah, famously good bad
You
movie.
can't piss on hospitality.
Yeah.
Cellar Dweller, Friday the 13th, The New Blood, 3 episodes of Land of the Lost. Oh man, I can't remember which one it was. This was the 90s version, right? Not the original, but like the remake version.
I believe so.
Yeah. Watchers Reborn, Saurian, The Eden Formula, Wizard Dream, but like one word, so like 2 Ds. Wizard Dream. Some of his makeup credits include Forbidden World, Mausoleum. Pause for effects.
Oh man, I gotta bleep that out.
You don't have to bleep out the name of the movie. The people don't know that we are going to secretly do it later.
Well, now they do.
Deathstalker, which
So cool.
I think I brought this up last time, but the Deathstalker, there is a Kickstarter to make a new one. That's like Steve Kostansky, who is the director of The Void, which is a movie that rules, and then also Psycho Goreman, which is also a movie that rules and might be one of my favorite movies now because that movie is just so good. Have you guys seen Psycho Goreman?
I have not.
Sure have. Multiple times.
I do not care for hunky boys. Or do
I?
Yes. Not my hunky boys. But anyways, yeah, and recently the Kickstarter was fully funded. It was only $75,000 and it's now over that. It's like at 77. I might still do it just to get my name in the credits, but we'll see. Other makeup stuff for John Carl, The Reanimator, or I think it's just Reanimator, right?
Yep.
It's not Reanimator. It's just Reanimator. Yeah. Which is one of my favorite Stuart Gordon movies. Dolls, the Garbage Pail Kids movie, A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, Robot Jocks, which Robot Jocks is on Tubi right now. It was listed to be removed, but that has since ended. Bride of Reanimator.
Out of all of them, we're going to keep this one.
Reanimator. Yeah, seriously. Ooh, I didn't bring that up during the earlier part. Remind me at the end of the cast and crew, and I'll talk about it. Tammy and the T-Rex, which some people might recognize.
Yeah.
Some people might recognize as one of the movies that plays during that. What is that video game?
High on Life.
High on Life.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was one of the movies in that. The 90s Piranha remake, Casper Meets Wendy, which I just bring up, which is kind of funny that came up. We just talked about Casper earlier. And he's also got special effects credits, Sorceress. And I think I said before that he probably designed that weird lion monster god that shows up at the end of that movie for no reason. Hard Rock Zombies, Terror Vision. And Terror Vision is one of those like 80s horror movies that has its own like new wave style theme song, and it's great. From Beyond, which is another Stuart Gordon one that I want to do on this podcast sooner or later. And then here's his connection to the Ghoulies verse. Ghoulies and Ghoulies 2. So he did the special effects for the first two Ghoulies. Demon Warp, Ghost Town.
So good.
Pause for Shane to interject.
Oh, it's so sad.
Yeah, you can't find it streaming anywhere, but I know you love the idea of a horror western.
Well, it's supposed to be one of the best vampire movies made in the 80s. Right? Isn't that?
Yeah, and here we are, unable to watch it because no one will stream it for us. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. So you have to assume that he did that scene. Remember when the dude drinks from the chalice, and then the dude's like, "You chose poorly."
Yeah.
And then he gets all zombified.
Yep.
I bet that was John Carl Buechler, man, doing that. Carnosaur.
I saw that.
What?
I saw that scene way too young, and boy, did it ever mess me up when I was a child.
Well, all those Indiana Jones movies were like PG, right? So like they really got away with a lot in this.
Oh yeah, even in the first one with all the Nazis melting, like, don't get me wrong, like Nazis melting, sign me up, but like at the age which I saw it, probably a little too young. Probably gave me some nightmares.
I was just watching New Girl the other day, and there was a scene where like Schmidt is talking about he won't watch Indiana Jones because it's Nazi propaganda. He's like, at the end, when all of these Americans are melted or whatever, and then Winston's like, "It's not the same movie, man. You watch a different movie." Super funny. Where was I? Did I say Carnosaur yet? Did I say that one already?
I don't think so, but I was going to bring up how this guy really, really gets into the dinosaurs. I think he was the T-Rex wrangler on several of these movies.
Okay, but here's...
Carnosaur wrangler.
Okay, but it's the same T-Rex. It's the same the same animatronic T-Rex is used in... it was like Carnosaur, I think the Jim Wynorski movie, Dinosaur Island. There's like a few other ones, and it's the same T-Rex, and he's the person who runs it. So I'm like, is he like in charge of this robot T-Rex? Like only one guy can operate.
He just goes home
I don't
with
know.
him. It's like in his house.
Yeah. He just hangs out.
It's like when they bring
T-Rex,
dogs like to the set, like they have to like credit the dog, and there's like the dog handler.
Yeah, it's like it's the same, but it's the same one, and that's why like if you watch any of those movies with that T-Rex, it is the same one. It is just the same dinosaur, just in a different movie. And by the way, doesn't even look like how we know T-Rex looks now. So, whoopsies. Next up, Project Metal Beast, which is the one about the werewolf that gets like made into like a robot werewolf. The Mummy's Kiss, Mortuary, The Ginger Dead Man, and then the last one I put down is Hyenas, which is one of those like low budget direct to DVD or direct to streaming, depending on when it came out, kind of movies. So there you go, John Carl Buechler, our director and also a special effects master. There's actually a super interesting story about his Ghoulies involvement. So Ghoulies 3, like other than being the first Ghoulies where the Ghoulies talk, is also the first one that wasn't done by, I think, Empire Pictures. Whatever the studio was that Charles Band was running at the time, this was the first one to not be a part of that. And Charles Band had to sell the Ghoulies franchise in order to keep the like studio afloat. If it was Empire at the time, because Charles Band kept like just studios were dying, he just like resurrect them under a different name or whatever. But it's interesting though that then John Carl Buechler got to direct the one. There's the first one that isn't involved with Charles Band at all, but at least he had like the bona fides of having worked on special effects for the first two, so it wasn't like he was a stranger to the franchise. I like that. That lineage is kind of cool.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Okay, I thought it was gonna be just silence where you guys like don't think it's cool. It's like, well, whatever.
No, it sucks.
Cheap.
Shane always.
I would like to note. I would like to note a credit for Mr. Buechler here that you missed. Two of his most recent entries are both Bunker of Blood Chapter 6 and Bunker of Blood Chapter 8 from 2018 and 2019, respectively. But my favorite thing, for Bunker of Blood, Chapter 6, he's just special effects. But between those two movies there, he got a promotion to become the special effects wizard, which is what he's credited as. And I gotta say, it's a great place to be in your career. You're getting called a wizard.
It's really cool because that means he can just like take scrolls and then just like transcribe them in his spell book, so he can just keep gathering more and more spells. I know he can't have them all the time. But
Man, I really thought you were going to talk about Countess Dracula's Orgy of Blood or Grandpa's Place, but
I mean, nothing scarier than Grandpa's Place.
Okay, what? Oh, no, okay, so Countess Dracula Orgy of Blood is not what it sounds like, so be chill about it. But it is like an adaptation of a storyline about, what's her name? Elizabeth Bathory.
Mm-hmm.
There's tons of movies about her, and like Countess Dracula is one of them. Because she's like, one of the most prolific murderers in history, like after like Gilda Ray or whatever. She like used to allegedly murder young women and then bathe in their blood.
Nice.
Yeah, because she believed that it kept her young. Like it was part of her beauty routine was the blood of the innocent.
Yeah, and then these movies kind of postulate that that's true, which I think is a dangerous message to share.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of historical evidence for it.
No, there's not. What are you talking about? All right, never mind. We're not getting into that. I don't want to get canceled for advocating that people bathe in blood. I don't want to be responsible for that evil.
So we're just talk about Grandpa's Place?
What do you want to talk about? Is it a horror movie?
Is it?
I swear to God, if you make me open IMDb to look up Grandpa's Place, I'm going to blow this planet up. All right, here we go. Open up John Carl Buechler, R.I.P. He died in 2019. When was this? This was recently?
2004.
Oh, there's a 2004 Countess Dracula's Orgy of Blood? That might be porn. That might very well be.
It really is.
Because,
like that Mummy's Kiss.
There's an earlier... Yeah, isn't that weird? Like, Mummy's Kiss does not seem like porn to me, but it is. So, yeah, I think that there's another Countess Dracula Orgy of Blood that is an earlier one from, like, the 60s or 70s that is not porn. It's just a sort of salacious horror movie. Grandpa's Place looks like a children's movie, my dude.
Lou Diamond Phillips.
It has Lou Diamond Phillips in it. And Dean Cain?
Yeah.
The worst Superman?
And Ed Lauder.
Yeah, a dude that I recognize, but I couldn't tell you anything I've seen him in. All right, what do you want to talk about with Grandpa's Place? It seemed like it was really important to you that we disrupt everything to talk about it.
You looked it up.
You succeeded in your mission to derail me long enough for you to look that shit up. Good work. Keep all of this in the episode. All of it. I want every damn word of this to reach our listeners' ears.
So, McMurray, if you're worried,
right.
I cut a lot of this stuff, if you can't tell.
This is always how it goes.
What? No.
What?
He just cuts them out to like use as blackmail material for me in case I ever get out of line.
I have a whole folder.
You ruined me.
I really do.
Yeah, an entire folder of shit I've said that I shouldn't have. Anywho, next up is the writers. We have Brent Olson as the writer for this particular film, but then we have Luca Bercovici and Jeffrey Levy, who have character credit, and I think it's because they created these three ghoulies, the cat ghoulie, rat ghoulie, and fish ghoulie, for previous entries. So like they've appeared before, but this is a new iteration of them. Unfortunately, the actual writer, Brent Olson, this was the only credit I could find for him. So for Luca Bercovici, I had, the first Ghoulies, obviously, then also Rockula, Dark Tide, and The Granny, which is one of those movies that one of McMurray and I's favorite podcast hosts brings up a lot, which is impossible to find, by the way. The Granny, I've been trying to find that
podcast?
On like Blu-ray or DVD. No, the movie The Granny. The podcast is on all streaming services. Nice. It's called The Flophouse.
Wow, free advertising. I see how it is. All right, don't worry about it.
Yeah, all 12 of our listeners might listen to their podcast, maybe.
Yeah, only the most popular movie podcast in America. Yeah.
Is it the most popular?
It would have to be.
I thought they were beaten out by.
It's either that or Blank Check.
How did this get made?
Oh yeah,
it might be
I
How
always
Did This
forget
Get
about
Made, yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, way to shit on Jason Mantzoukas.
Well,
But yeah, he always talks about head of the family, the granny, or used to talk about. He doesn't so much
don't
anymore.
put that
head
on
of
me.
the family, granny. Yes, head of the family,
Because
granny.
I like Jason
the granny.
Mantzoukas, so I don't want to
and-
do this. So you take that back.
What?
Take it back.
Take what back? What did I do?
Whatever. You know what you did.
I do, and I hope he hears this and gets mad at you. No, okay, I take it back. I know you like Jason Mantzoukas. You do frequently text me gifs of him.
This is no joke, folks. On the regular, I will send him just like pictures of Jason Mantzoukas doing weird shit. So
I think he did today, or if not today, then yesterday for sure.
have you seen The
Definitely
Good
recently.
Place?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
his cameo in The Good Place is so good. Or have you not gotten that far yet?
I might not have gotten that
He
far.
plays.
I kind of
was it Janice or Janet? Janet. He plays
Oh,
her boyfriend.
Yeah, her boyfriend or whatever. Yeah, I do. I remember that. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, so good.
He also had a really cool character in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
But all right, but this isn't a Jason Mantzoukas appreciation podcast. This is our podcast. So the other writer again, Jeffrey Levy, also Ghoulies and Rockula. A lot of TV directing credits for him. I think that's all I noted for him, is he had tons of TV credits. And I think last time we went into that a little bit, but we don't have time. We've already wasted too much time. Moving on. Music. All right, let me try that inflection again.
Music?
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Music.
All right, so music. We have Reg Powell and Michael Lloyd. Hold on, I did that weird again. Reg Powell and Michael Lloyd. My energy's all over the place, dude. I don't think we can record again after like the day after I went to a concert the night before. I'm off the charts right now. I literally am so like antsy and I'm moving around a lot. This is going to be a nightmare for you to edit. Anyways, for Reg Powell, he had Dr. Alien, which I'm pretty sure is softcore porn. He had Ghetto Blaster, Ghost Rider, but not that one. Beach Babes from Beyond, Pet Shop, Josh Kirby Time Warrior, Shadow Zone, Shadow Zone. Hold on, I forgot to put a comma in my notes. Shadow Zone, The Undead Express, Poison Ivy, The New Seduction. Do you see what I did? I mean, I put down Shadow Zone, The Undead Express. Like, wait, that's not one idea.
It is. It is actually.
Different. Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
It could
No,
be,
it
though.
actually
I'd
is
be
one
into that.
movie, by the way. It's a colon.
Well, I didn't put the colon in my notes either.
Oh, shit.
So, man, I really set myself up for failure in that one. And this is the second time we've done this. Did I make this mistake the first time? I don't think I did. That's amazing. I'm really killing the game here. Anyways, Poison Ivy, The New Seduction, which is where we start out the series with a new Poison Ivy. The Journey of Alan Strange, but just one episode of that. And then I put Song of Hiawatha, which was a more recent credit, but I don't think his last. So that's all I had for Reg Powell. I'm going to move on to Michael Lloyd, unless you guys want to say something about Reg Powell.
Man, I looked up Josh Kirby Time Warrior, and it is fucking weird.
What is, it's probably just like a kid going through time doing stuff.
God, yeah, but there's like all kinds of weird puppets and shit. It's really weird.
Yo, like Farscape?
Kind.
Are they official Jim Henson
No,
puppets?
no,
No. But not like Puppet Master puppets, right?
yeah, yes, actually.
Anyways, Michael Lloyd, Land of the Lost. He did 13 episodes. He scored for that. And that was the original Land of the Lost, not the newer one. Malibu Beach, Summer of Fear, Hard Knocks, The Beach Girls, Savage Streets. Is Savage Streets the one that you bring up sometimes to me?
No. Well,
The one with Willem Dafoe?
no. So the one I bring up, it's Streets of Rage is based off of it. It's Streets of Fire.
Oh, yeah. It's a musical, right?
No.
Oh, what am I thinking of?
It looks like it, to be fair, it looks like it could be a musical. Like it's shot that way, but there's never a musical number that shows up, which is kind of a problem. But so Diane Lane's the main, she's the main female lead, and she is a singer, so she does sing a few times. But Yeah.
Yeah, we'll pretend that that's the mistake I made just to help me save face a little
Well,
bit.
if no one's seen Streets of Fire, it's an awesome movie. Well, it's Rick Moranis is in it, so there you go. That's all you need to hear. So
I like your qualified recommendation. As though you haven't, when I stayed over at your house one time, forced me to watch part of
and
it.
Willem Dafoe is predominantly shirtless through the whole movie.
Oh, you've got my attention.
Back to the Michael Lloyd here, where we left off at Savage Streets, which isn't the movie I was thinking of. So, whoops. He also has the Garbage Pail Kids movie, returns. He has Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the movie, but it's not the one that we all know, like the claymation one. It's like a more recent animated one.
Mhm.
Deep Evil, and then as one of his last credits, but maybe not his last because I put a comma at the end, which means I might have intended to go further and didn't, was At Jesus' Side, which I think is kind of funny to do all these like weird horror and pulp movies and then just do a Jesus one. But, you know, what can you do?
What can you do?
And and I think I brought this up last time we recorded, so I'll bring it up again, is there is an entire squad of like special effects people, like so many of them, probably because of all the puppeteering and all that stuff. So I did not put down the special effects person or supervisor because there's so many people and I didn't feel like I could give them their due. But just so you know, there's a lot of them involved in this. All right, I'm going to move on to the cast if you guys are cool with that, unless you want me to. If there's anyone in the crew portion that you wanted to go over.
No, you killed
Nope,
it.
I'm good.
First up is our hero of sorts, Skip Carter, as played by Evan McKenzie. He had like Bad Dreams, Children of the Night, Session Man, Dancing with Danger, Scanner Cop 2, The Learning Curve, Disordered. I'd never heard of any of these, so not that interested. But he's our hero, so we have to say something about him. Moving on, Professor Quentin Ragnar, as played by Kevin McCarthy.
Former Speaker of the House?
Not that one.
Yeah, that hit better this time. That was good.
That's it. That did hit
That was a
better
good
than
one.
it did the first recording. That's awesome.
I love it.
Not the current Speaker of the House, who's Mike. Johnson. For now, I guess. Aren't they doing something to oust that guy?
Who knows? Yeah, by the
time this
by the time this comes out, he very well may be on to the next one.
Well, R.I.P. to Mike Johnson, I guess. Not really. He seemed like kind of a weirdo. Next up. Oh no, what I was going to say about Kevin McCarthy, because we did get derailed on his name and never returned to him. I think we covered him pretty thoroughly in the Piranha episode. He's in tons of stuff. He's awesome. I think it's really awesome that this late in his career, let's be real, he slummed it in a creepy little dude, creepy little dude movie, like a little Gremlins clone. Like, it's so funny to see him doing that this late in his career, which I absolutely love. But is there anything that I know you took some notes on him, McMurray? Was there anything you wanted to bring up that I might have missed in my Piranha reappraisal?
So the only thing that was really missed from the Piranha episode was, in particular, I wanted to talk a little bit about the one episode of the Twilight Zone that he was in. I believe it's season 1. The episode is titled "Long Live Walter Jameson." The interesting thing about this episode is that the episode in and of itself is about immortality and sort of like the struggles that one would go through, living for hundreds of years in a society where like nobody lives for that long. And the interesting thing about that is all 4 members of the principal cast, Kevin McCarthy, Estelle Winwood, Edgar Stolley, and Dodie Heath, all lived to be like almost 90. Edgar Stolley he died the youngest at 89, but Kevin McCarthy died at 96, as did Dodie Heath, and Estelle Winwood actually made it to 101. So, fascinating little tidbit about the episode about living for a long time is all of them lived for a really long time.
Rod Serling might be an actual sorcerer. We'll find out.
Rod Sterling or Stewart, who knows?
Yeah,
you did say Rod Stewart the first time we
that was a
recorded
good joke.
And you're still saying Sterling. It's Serling.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay.
So I just did a little digging on Kevin McCarthy, and he has a movie from 2007 that I think looks amazing, and it's Trail of the Screaming Forehead. A small town infestation of crawling alien foreheads that begin attaching to people and taking them over collides with a scientist's experiments to extract foreheadazine, and things go horribly, horribly wrong. And that's the tagline. And I will say, I thought it was Trial of the Screaming Forehead, but it definitely is Trail of the Screaming Forehead. So this actually looks amazing. And it's on AMC Plus, so I'm going to try to borrow this from the internet to watch.
Get a free trial of it. Oh, borrow from the internet. Boo. Just get a free trial. What else did you want on AMC Plus anyway? All right, where was I? We just talked about Kevin McCarthy a lot. Rod Serling. Oh, Shane, do you remember when we used to live together and we spent like a few weeks just watching Twilight Zone episodes?
Yeah, they were solid.
That was awesome. Yeah, they still hold up. It's so cool.
Yep.
And a lot of them adapt Richard Matheson, who's one of my favorite authors. So I love it when they either adapt or have episodes written by Richard Matheson, who rules. He wrote a book called I Am Legend. I hope they adapt it into a film again one day. You know, since they haven't done it since Vincent Price's Last Man on Earth.
Hey, isn't there that one movie that Will Smith quotes Shrek a bunch?
No, I think you're thinking of Omega Man with Charlton Heston. It's a loose adaptation of I Am Legend, but it's not quite. We don't really consider that to be an actual adaptation. So
Will Smith was in that, right?
no, there's no whatever you're saying. There's no such movie. Is that?
I see.
If you say World War Z to me, I swear to God,
He'll come over and
I
he'll
was
come over and
queuing it
slap
up,
you.
so good call.
I'll make the drive right now. No, wait. Have we talked on this podcast about how much I hate the movie adaptations of I Am Legend and World War Z?
World War Z.
'Cause I hate them.
Well, we did the latter, probably never the former.
I Am Legend, I don't consider to be quite as egregious. So, like, I don't watch Brad Pitt movies anymore because of World War Z, but I do still watch Will Smith ones because at least he wasn't involved in like the actual process of getting it made. Like, Brad Pitt won a bidding war with Plan B, his production company, to adapt it and purposefully sanitized it and changed it to make it like more kid friendly and stuff. So Brad Pitt personally destroyed my life and will suffer for it one day. But Will Smith, on the other hand, I don't blame him for I Am Legend, but I do hold it against him a little bit. So
It's okay. At least Will Smith has never done like anything publicly embarrassing that garnered a bunch of national attention and memes. Oh wait.
what are you talking about? Men in Black 2?
Yeah, that's the one.
Anyhow, then we covered Kevin McCarthy. Onward to our female lead is Erin Riddle, is played by Eva LaRue. She had some pretty cool stuff in her past. The Barbarians, which is one of those sword and sorcery movies. Santa Barbara, she had 25 episodes of that. Good to see our old friend Santa Barbara popping up again. Desert Rats, an episode of Freddy's Nightmares. Legal Tender, Body of Influence. RoboCop 3, the third best RoboCop. Cries in the Dark. Do you like how I snuck that in? A little dig at RoboCop 3. By the way, that RoboCop video game that came out, Rogue City, rules, and you guys should play it if you can. I bought it and I've been playing it and I love it. Lakeview Terrace, the movie where I think Samuel L. Jackson plays an evil cop. 143 episodes of All My Children. So I'm assuming that's like, I don't know, a couple years. How much do they have episodes every day? I don't know how soap operas work.
That's at least a few years worth.
Seems like it should be.
She
right?
definitely had to have been a main character.
Yeah, for at least a few
I would imagine.
plot lines or whatever, however those work.
For sure. Maybe had an evil twin or two.
Anyways, she was in 153 episodes of CSI Miami. So I'm assuming she hung out with David Caruso a lot. Urban Cowboy, Orphan Horse. Oh yeah, these are the two titles I put in there because I thought they were a funny like juxtaposition. We have Urban Cowboy and Orphan Horse, not related, but wouldn't it be funny if they were? And then A Killer Walks Among Us is her last credit. So kind of a, you know, what's the word? Anticlimactic end to that after Urban Cowboy and Orphan Horse. But what can you do?
Yeah, you probably should have saved those for the very last because boy howdy, I would love to watch the duology of Urban Cowboy and Orphan Horse.
Well, here's the thing, Marie. You might not understand this, but I actually put these in chronological order most of the time, unless I don't.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh.
Sometimes I don't, and I don't know when I don't. So I will not be held responsible for what I do. Next up is Jeremy Heilman, our human antagonist, as played by John R. Johnston. So good name. Let's see what his credits are. Tour of Duty, some LA Law, Loving, Healer, but I misspelled it in my notes and never fixed it. And then his last credit, which we discussed in detail last time, was Dan Aykroyd Unplugged on UFOs. So
my favorite bit about this is it's so many years after his last acting credit, and he's the camera operator and editor. So just like he must have just like heard Dan Aykroyd was coming to town to talk about UFOs as he is wont to do.
Yeah, throw me on
and
the camera
just,
for this one, baby.
He's like, I gotta film this.
I've got to be the one to do this. I love that idea because, like, I don't think I knew until we recorded the first time that Dan Aykroyd was one of those, like, UFO people. I know we now know that
he absolutely
the government has said that UFOs are real. Like, I was like, okay, well, cool.
Yeah, so say what he actually is. He's right.
Him and Tom DeLonge, they can do a victory lap together. Finish out their day with some of Dan Aykroyd's Crystal Skull vodka or whatever.
And Dan Aykroyd is like actually one of the like true original hardcore paranormal UFO type guys. Like for instance, the original script for Ghostbusters was they had to pare it down significantly in order to make it consumable for the average audience because he just kind of filled a script with gobbledygook and let it rip. And they thankfully neutered it a little bit so that it could be a bit more digestible.
Yeah, I actually saw a copy of his original script totally smeared with ectoplasm, dude. Just like you know how you like when you get a piece of toast and you put like butter on it with like a butter knife?
Just gave it the old slathering.
He just slathered that script with ectoplasm. Like, dude, this thing's wet. We can't read it.
But I do have some rather disturbing news for you. That might not have been ectoplasm. Moving on.
He was just really excited. Anyways, next up is our sidekick of our main character is Mookie, as played by Patrick Labiorteau. I don't know. It's a French name. It's really hard to pronounce. He was in Blazing Saddles.
It's Laborteau.
Laborteau. I mean, it could be. I don't know how he says it because I didn't look it up. He was in Blazing Saddles, Three Ninjas, Summer School, Ski School, so a lot of schools. He was in Heathers, Adventures in Dinosaur City. I don't know what that is, but I'd love to go on one. Spider-Man, the animated series, Godzilla, the animated series, the one that's based off of the 1998 one with not Rick Moranis. Oh, that's the wrong guy.
Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick, yeah. I knew you'd get his name right because of your love of the producers.
That's true.
He was in almost all of Jag, where he played Bud, who's one of my favorite characters. He was in Yes Man, the Last Sharknado, It's About Time. So I don't know what character he plays, but he showed up for the end. Doomsday Meteor, Attack of the Meth Gator.
Hold on, we do have to rewind for a second and talk about the Last Sharknado for a second. So I read a quick plot synopsis of the Last Sharknado. It's About Time. Whenever I was researching Patrick here, the Last Sharknado involves the only surviving character from all 6 movies, the bartender, going back in time to stop the Sharknadoes from ever occurring. And so he gathers up like a crack team of historical figures as well as the other characters from Sharknado to stop the original Sharknado, to stop this crisis from ever occurring.
That sounds awful.
Sounds like a true masterpiece.
Cinematic genius. All right, now that we've successfully derailed us to talk about the Last Sharknado for some reason, I said Doomsday Meteor. Did I say Attack of the Meth Gator? Because that's a movie I want to see is Attack of the Meth Gator. Arctic Armageddon.
I'm into that as well.
Yeah. Arctic Armageddon. So it seems like he was doing a lot of really cool low budget, like, straight to streaming or whatever, like maybe Sci-Fi Channel original movies. I think Shane said last time that they were Sci-Fi Channel original movies. but I don't.
They definitely seem like sci-fi
The
originals.
Sharknadoes definitely are. So I love that
Yes.
turn in his career for him because those are the movies I love. But then his most recent credit was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. He's played some voice work in that. Like, all right, man, just being one of, Square Enix. Is it called Square Enix now? Yeah. Square Enix's
Enix, you're right.
biggest releases. Yeah.
I would also like to mention that he does have a couple credits on like what seems like some Hallmark Christmas movies, and these are part of his like late career alongside your Sharknadoes and your other sci-fi originals. It kind of seems like he's just alternating between sci-fi originals and Hallmark Christmas movies. Those include the 12 Games of Christmas and Rent an Elf. And I just, what a life, man. Just being able to alternate between those two completely different ends of the schlocky spectrum. Just, mwah.
See, that seems like it happens a lot. So I have to assume there's like some kind of, I don't know, like shared production company between these two things. Like there's got to be a through line between like Sci-Fi Channel original movie level stuff and Hallmark movie stuff. But I don't know enough about the business of like filmmaking to know what that is. But there's got to be one. Audience out there, figure it out and tell me. I don't want to do the work. You do the work. No one's going to do the work.
And then also let me know so that I can break into that and just ride that out for the rest of my life.
Do not tell McMurray.
And also let me
Just
know
tell
because I
me.
know exactly what we're talking about.
Don't tell Shane. He won't hear this later when he replays this to edit the episode. Anyways, next up is Wes, as played by Billy Morissette. Freddy's Nightmares, he had an episode of that. Catch Me If You Can, but not that
Holy
one.
shit, you only got two done?
Pump Up the Vault. Yeah, we went on some tangents. You're going to have to do a lot of editing.
Dude.
Yeah, Severed Ties, National Lampoon's Vegas Vacation, and then My Dead Boyfriend, and that's all we really have for him. So
he was in so little other, like he's done so few movies that the on IMDb they show a trailer for something that the person has been on. Whatever the trailer was that was showing, the boom mic was visible in half the shots, and that just that tickles me.
just quality filmmaking right there. Next up is Wes's girlfriend in the movie is Veronica, as played by Hope Marie Carlton. She had Hard Ticket to Hawaii, Terminal Exposure, Slaughterhouse Rock, A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, which we've heard that movie before. It's good to see it reappear. What else we got here? She had Savage Beach, Slumber Party Massacre 3. So, really getting into those Slumber Party Massacres right when they're getting good. Blood Match. She was in The Stand, but not the newer one. She was in the one that was on the Mick Garris miniseries version, which is the better version. But she's not in it a lot, though, so don't get too used to her. I think she dies of Captain Trips. And she's also in Noctropolis. So those are her credits.
I do have to say that Blood Match, I took a gander at that because I was intrigued by the title. It looks like about the most 90s movie I've ever seen in my entire life. The entire plot is it's like a drug busting and also kickboxing movie, and just looks absolutely fantastic.
I thought it was going to be the story of how they determined what rhesus factors were. Isn't that a good joke, Shane?
It was a great joke.
A major turn in Hope Marie Carlton's career there.
An unexpected movie, for sure. Next up is Kyle, played by Jason Scott Lee. He was in Back to the Future Part 2, Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, which seemed like one of his bigger titles. The Jungle Book, the 90s, was it the 90s live action version?
Live action.
Yeah, he played Mowgli in that. Tale of the Mummy, Lilo and Stitch, and subsequent like sequels and like other Lilo and Stitch content. He played the same character. Dracula 2 Ascension and Dracula 3 Legacy, which are sequels to like Dracula 2000 that I didn't know existed. Time Cop, The Berlin Decision, Balls of Fury, underrated sports comedy featuring James Hong.
Yep.
And Christopher
Walken.
Walken. He had that bit that I think I brought this up last time. I'm going to do it again because I love it. Where he like goes to his like enclosure. He asks for a panda and it's just laying on the ground. And he's like knocking on the window and he's like, it might be dead. I don't really know what they eat. They famously eat bamboo, dude. Watch a movie. Anyways, Dance of the Dragon, The Seventh Son, Mulan, the live action Mulan, which I was disappointed to learn didn't have songs. It's like, I'm here for the songs.
Literally the best part of the original animated feature were the songs.
Yeah, dude. I'll Make a Man Out of You. That song rules. I think it might be on one of my workout playlists. Like I listen to that stuff all the time. The Haunted Swordsman was his last credit. I don't know why I stopped to talk about one and then go to the last one. I need to figure out my flow a little better than that. Like if I know I'm going to talk about something for a while, maybe I should just like put that one at the end.
Nah.
No time to question my own. Yeah, no time to question myself. Next up is Blaine, as played by Griffin O'Neill. We have April Fool's Day. Sounds cool. Assault of the Killer Bimbos. Sounds sexist. Night Children and Soulmates. Next up, Miss Boggs, as played by Marsha Wallace. The Ghoulies make a joke about her being on Newhart, and she was. She was on the Bob Newhart show. So there you go.
Solid joke.
Yeah,
the Ghoulies get that's another club banger from the Ghoulies.
It makes you wonder if the Ghoulies like are like Deadpools. Like they can see the world beyond the fourth wall.
I think so.
So what we're saying is the Ghoulies are better than Deadpool. She was also in My Mom's a Werewolf. A lot of episodes of Darkwing Duck. A lot of episodes of the Addams Family animated series. But I think she's probably most famous for being Miss Crabapple in The Simpsons. Like for the entire run until her unfortunate passing. She was, and then all the other content, Simpsons related content, like any spin-offs, any video games. If that character appeared, she played her.
Isn't Krabappel?
Is it Krabappel?
Yeah.
How's it pronounced?
It's Krabappel. They don't, it's a joke, but it's Krabappel.
Anyhow, next up is the security guard, Barkus, as played by Stephen Lee. He was in War Games.
Show favorite.
Yeah. Barkus is the best character, right, guys? We all agree on it.
Yes.
We don't need to wait for people to reply. We just all agree. He was in War Games, Dolls, La Bamba with our man Lou Diamond Phillips, RoboCop 2, the second best RoboCop, The Pit and the Pendulum, Hell Hath No Fury, but not Hell Hath No Fury like Slith is. He was in several episodes of Santa Barbara. So it's like, oh man, do you think he was like hanging out on the Santa Barbara set with Aaron Riddle? Or Eva LaRue. Aaron Riddle is her character. Eva LaRue, because she was in several episodes of it. I doubt it, but one can dream. He was in Prehysteria. I have to say it that way because it has a exclamation point at the end, which is a childhood favorite of mine. Black Scorpion 2 Aftershock. He was in Carnosaur 3 Primal Species. And if it has that same T-Rex, you know our director, John Carl Buechler, was in it. And then one of his last credits I wrote down was Burlesque, which was that musical with like, what's her face in it? Christina Aguilera and Cher. Mm-hmm. Have you guys seen Burlesque? No. Yeah, me neither. I definitely don't have it on DVD in my home right now. It's pretty good. I liked it. I like musicals. You guys know this about me. Like, it's no secret. If I wasn't doing a horror movie podcast, I'd probably do a musicals podcast. And then I did not put down, even in the time since, the Ghoulies voice actors and their importance. So let me pull those up. Can you guys vamp for a second while I do that?
Vamp, 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 vamp.
Oh my god, that's not what vamping is. This is
the Lord gave us editing.
This is worse than Dead Air.
Vampy vamp.
That movie was good.
What'd you say?
Fuck you.
Dead Air?
Yeah.
That's a movie?
Yeah.
Who's in it?
Dead.
Okay, so you're just fucking with me. Okay, so
no, it's actually a movie.
Well, no. But like, Dead isn't in it though. That's a silly thing to say. So our Ghoulies are Bob Bergen as the Rat Ghoulie, Patrick Pinney as the Fish Ghoulie, and Richard Kind as the Cat Ghoulie. None other than the actor who played Hopper's brother in A Bug's Life. And also, I think last time we brought up Spin City, he was like in Spin City.
Yeah, he was.
He's in a lot of stuff. He's in like tons of things. I think we had like a special cameo from Kane Hodder, which is kind of cool to see. We love Kane Hodder in this house. And then I did not bring up. There's one more person. Oh, Matthew Lillard in his first ever film appearance. So he plays
So much
a
dialogue.
character named Stork, who's just one of the guys in the fraternity of our hero, who just shows up in the movie, like just in the background. He's there a lot, just like kind of looking like a nerd. So Matthew Lillard, everyone, like the internet loves that guy. So I think they'd be happy to hear that he was involved.
That's what the kids want.
We have to get that youth
Like
demographic.
Zoinks.
Yeah, like Zoink Scoob.
Like tears in the rain, Scoob.
Like tears in the rain, Scoob. All right. Well, I think, unless you guys have anything to add for cast and or crew, I think we might be ready to move on.
To what?
Well, I was going to give you guys a second, but if you're not going to do that, then we'll move on to the
Plot description.
Jesus. The lawsuit.
You're gonna do like Aaron Copland style big band music.
Yeah, I am now. No, I had plans, but we'll see.
Opening credits, pretty simple. Some good tunes. I did enjoy the tunes. The Ghoulies logo with like the drippy green goopy text, and then the go to college with like the collegiate type. Like it looked like it was straight out of what's that college movie that everyone references, but I don't think anyone actually
Back
likes?
to school.
No.
Nerds.
No.
Animal House.
Yes.
All right.
That one. It reminded me of that. I'm convinced no one likes that movie because it is obnoxious. Anyways, we have a on-screen text. It says 21 years ago. We get some zany music as the camera tracks into the house where a college nerdy-looking dude is holding a comic book called Ghoulish Tales. The Ghoulish Tales is magic to summon the Ghoulies, but it can also unsummon them. So we see him being pursued by the rat, the cat, and the fish ghoulie, which I think I've talked about this before, but that fish ghoulie looks like a reptile ghoulie. He's green and scaly. He looks like a reptile.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're green and scaly fish, but come on. So yeah, the Ghoulish Tale stuff both summons and dispels ghoulies. So the nerd is saying the magic words that are a mixture of like fakey Latin and also just rhyming English. He's trying to seal them back into an ornate toilet bowl, which serves as their home. Which honestly, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. If I ever get enough money and can get a toilet like that, I'm gonna. Because that toilet rules. It's just like a regular toilet, but
it's got like
ghoulie faces on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got like gargoyles around the bottom.
Well, those are
like that
ghoulies.
rules. Ghoulgoyles.
Gargoyles.
Or
Well, they'll be
gargoyles.
gargling if I'm using that toilet, I'll tell you what.
Hey.
Yeah, but then the nerd finishes the words to seal the ghoulies and send them back to their ornate toilet bowl home. But unfortunately, he's also taken with them. Oh no, scary. The name of the college is Glacier College, and it's now the present, according to the what is it? The on-screen text. And the present means 1991. So keep that in mind. Over a loudspeaker, we learn that it is prank week at the college, which is really just a series of horrific things to do to people. It's basically a series of physical assaults that are performed on humans. It's awful. These pranks are terrible. They're not fun.
Well, I mean, it's sort of like Winston Bishop from New
Just
Girl,
doing too big.
in that their pranks are either too big and violent and convoluted and crazy, or it's like the laziest, like could barely even be considered a prank. Like they zoom in on the college mascot, which is a donkey. They zoom in on its face, and somebody has put a condom over its nose. Oh, that's such a good prank, I guess.
Was that a donkey? I thought it was a goat.
A goat. That's what I meant. Same difference.
Sir,
Donkey
I
goat.
assure you, donkeys.
Shane, let me give you a clean goat that you can put in there.
Yeah. So one thing you should learn about me.
He's just gonna leave all that
You're not
in.
going to do that.
Yeah, it's gonna make you look weirder.
He's
But
gonna
hey,
do whatever he can to make
I
us
know.
look as bad as possible.
But hey, look. Here's what I'll say. I'm pretty sure that's why they have to have judges for this competition. Is because the wide range of like almost murder versus like, haha, we put a condom on something. So
They honestly should just give more credit to the ones that are less destructive to people's lives. But who knows? We never know anything about the judging because we're too busy with Ghoulies. So what is it? We get a series of shots of people just doing quote unquote pranks. There's egging stuff, putting a condom on a goat statue. I had that in my notes. Toilet papering a tree, carrying a stuffed goat to a flagpole and then hoisting it onto the flagpole. So I guess it's now a goat flag. I don't know. One of the most elaborate pranks we see early on is, what is it? Some dude like as a janitor, which by the way, there's a janitor. He's just trying to do his job. And these kids are messing with him. Like, this is a worker, dude. Like, save your pranks for the rich at least. Like, they deserve it. They have it coming. Like, a dude just trying to like make enough money to like get by. Uncool. But yeah, so the dude goes and removes the bolts from the mop, like the mop bolts from like the, handle. So when the janitor uses it, the mop handle detaches, the bucket falls, goes down the stairs, catches a college dude who is played by Kane Hodder, which is cool, but he gets like in it and he's like rolling down the street in it. And it's like, okay, this is like a cartoon now. He like hits a professor and the professor, like all of his stuff fly into the air and his book flies and hits a bystander in the head, causing him to put his face in his ice cream. And he was a bystander who's laughing earlier. So it's like his comeuppance. And I'm like, okay, so we're in a cartoon. We're in like a live action version of a cartoon movie. So
Honestly, my enjoyment of this movie increased immensely whenever I just accepted that it was a cartoon. Like, everything operates on cartoon logic and physics and humor, and like it is very much live action, but the feel of a cartoon.
it's like, will characters behave like characters? No. Will physics make sense? No. It's like, okay, here we are.
will plungers make sense? No.
No.
Absolutely not.
0%. Anyways, we go to a fraternity house, which is our hero fraternity, right? The Beta Zeta Thetas. While one of the brothers that we'll later learn is Wes, is graffitiing a stall again in his own house. Like, don't graffiti your own house. What are you doing? I mean, don't graffiti anywhere, kids. It's a crime. Don't do it. But like, he's graffitiing his own stall, and then he breaks like some of the tiling on the side of the stall and finds ghoulish tails. It's been walled up in there. Looking it over, Wes says some of the words necessary to summon the ghoulies, but not enough for it to work. So the summoning stops because the guys are yelling for Wes to participate in some prank week shenanigans. One of them asks him if he fell in. Hey guys, guess what? He's gonna fall in later.
Is he gonna fall in?
But yeah, so they ask if he fell in. He did not. He goes outside. Our hero Skip is telling all of the boys that a Gamma Yank doesn't compare to a Beta Zeta Theta Yank. The Gammas are the other fraternity. He squirts. What does he does? He's like squirts water on a guy's crotch from a drinking fountain because he like undid like the water line. And then he makes a bench fall over, and these girls fall backwards and probably get concussions. It's like, it's just boys being boys, right? That's how it works.
Yeah, concussions at the least because they get rocked off the
They
back of
fall
that
so
thing.
far. Yeah, it's like, it's wild to me.
Mhm.
Like head injuries are not a joke, dude. Then Skip finds what he thinks is a bad Gamma prank, but it's actually a secret setup by the Gammas. So he picks up a balloon, and then when the grumpy Professor Ragnar comes by with what's her name, Miss what's his assistant's name? Miss Boggs.
Miss Boggs.
Yeah, he's coming by with Miss Boggs, and the Gammas fire a water balloon from a slingshot. It hits Ragnar in the back of the head, and then when he turns around, he sees that Skip is holding a balloon, so he assumes he must have thrown the other one, which actually is kind of faulty logic for a college professor. He probably should have better deduction skills, but he's probably tenured, so you know what I'm saying. So like he doesn't really understand. But then Gamma's leader, Heilman, he arrives to confront Skip. Basically, this is where we find out that Skip is going to try to reclaim the prank crown, which is a thing, from Gammas. So the Beta Zeta Thetas had it until it was stolen away last year by the Gammas and Heilman. It's kind of a weird situation because it's implied that Heilman is rich and had paid off the judges to go to Florida during the time, so there were replacement judges. But again, we never see the judges. We don't know, are they students? Are they teachers? Are they faculty? What are they?
What are the judging criteria? There are so many questions that pertain to these judges,
and we never find out.
And quick description of Heilman, real quick. Have you seen the Harry Potter movies? Because it's just Draco Malfoy. Like, he could just pretty much, like, he has the entire energy, the entire look, like, everything about him reads Draco Malfoy.
Talking about that kid from Rise of the Planet of the Apes?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Anyways, yeah, Heilman is like, and also there's like a different, probably I should explain this a little bit. So like the Gamma fraternity and the Beta Zeta Theta fraternity are like, the Gammas are like the old style fraternity, like very nice house, obviously well dressed and rich guys. And our heroes, the Beta Zeta Thetas, like they have kind of a shitty house. Like they are just regular guys. Everyone's kind of poorly dressed and like diversely dressed, probably more important because they aren't like, they're like the everyman fraternity as compared to the Gammas, which are like a regular rich people fraternity. So, because we were in a fraternity, right, guys? Like we didn't say this at the top like we did last time. We, all three of us, were in the same fraternity together.
Indeed, we were.
And we were closer to the Beta Zeta Thetas, although we had a better house than that.
That's true. Although our house didn't have all that Gothic architecture in it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dude, I would have loved...
I guess it also didn't have a Ghoulies toilet, so...
Wow.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
That we know of.
Gemco just wouldn't put in our Ghoulies toilet for us. Oh, we'll probably have to cut that out. That's definitely litigious. But yeah, no, we didn't have a Ghoulies toilet. What a bummer.
That's going to start to become a phrase for us.
What?
A Ghoulies toilet?
Oh, we're going to have to cut that out.
Yeah. Because most things we cut out have to be cut out.
It's a new phrase. Yeah.
Anyway, back to... oh, yeah. So Skip's talking to his girlfriend, Erin. Presumably girlfriend. They don't really seem like they're a couple, but they are a couple. He had stood her up for a date the night before, and she's annoyed, understandably. She doesn't like this idea that he just wants, all he cares about is taking back the prank crown. I'm like, yeah, no shit. Like, that's a terrible partner. But he says something like, how about you let a handsome man walk you to class or something? She's like, I think I will. And then Heilman rolls in and then walks her to class. I'm like, number one, she's kind of toxic in this relationship too. And number two, like, Heilman is also part of the prank week. So why is
Here's the thing about Heilman rolling in. Heilman is literally rolling in. He has this, like, clean looking Vespa, like, oh, it's looking good. I'll tell you what, if I had a choice between two men, I'd be picking the one with the Vespa.
Heard it here first, guys. If you want to get the girl, get a Vespa.
You're here first, McMurray's picking the guy with the Vespa.
Well, I assume that all women love Vespas, don't they? Next up, like I'm doing the cast still. So they go to class. It's a particularly rowdy class. Students are tying shoes together, throwing things around. It's a really like very much like 80s college movie class, like people just like being wild and crazy. And Ragnar comes in to sully the mood, but it's like, knowing that he's your professor, why would you ever have done this? Because I don't know about you guys, but in college, if I had a professor who's a dick, it's much better just to lay low and get through that, like, you know, whatever. If it's a Tuesday, Thursday, that hour 30, if it's the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that 45, just get through that class and move on and do not make waves. But these kids do not do that.
And this classroom is thoroughly destroyed. Like there's evidence of pranks everywhere. There's like a glove hanging off the chalkboard. There's like paper planes all over the ground and just like refuse different places. Like this classroom has been destroyed by this prank war.
Literally no college on earth would tolerate this behavior, but here we are.
I just, they frame Ragnar to be a bit of a dick here in this scene, but honestly, his rage is justified.
I gotta tell you though, it might just because we're getting older and we're just old guys now, and we're just like, yeah, I'd hate that. that'd be a devastating.
We think like 15
thing.
years ago, we'd be like, yeah, get him. Oh, put that condom on that goat. Yeah.
Yeah, show him what's what. I don't think so though. I think we were like way more respectful in college than these kids are. Well, I was more respectful anyway. The rowdy class is doing all this stuff. Ragnar comes in. The chalkboard. That's like one of those like floating chalkboards that has like double sided. It says Ragnar's on the rag on it, and he's like, all right, almost clever, but okay. And then he flips it, and there's a drawing of him as a centaur that says he's like what Ragnarvidus Horsasimus. Like, and then all of the kids laugh about it. Like, it's a picture of him as a centaur. I was like, it's surprisingly well done. What class is this again? There's someone who's that good at art is here. Ragnar then starts talking. He's talking about Pandora's box. So I guess it's a classics class. And everyone laughs about Pandora's box because I guess box was a slang term for vagina at one point. Again, do they know who? Like, he's a college professor. He can just fail them for no reason. He doesn't have to justify it. It seems a dangerous thing to do.
And what's wild is they are paying for this class. Like they're there specifically to learn. Like the only person that this hurts is them. Each of them, their selves. Like if they fail this course, then they just have to pay more money to take it again.
They just hope to have another one where they draw a better professor. It's like, we won't get Ragnar this time, but maybe you will.
Well, I don't know. That centaur drawing was pretty good.
Pretty good. Also, it's a very big class. But then again, we went to a small college, so maybe that's just regular college size. It seems like there's a lot of people there, though. And then here we get where Wes is just making out with Veronica in class, just like openly. And this might not be Wes's fault, because we learned that Veronica is a lady who enjoys intercourse stuff. What's the word for that? I guess there's a word for it, right?
Yeah, there is.
She is insatiable.
Insatiable, yeah.
We'll say.
There you go.
She's insatiable. She needs to be doing sexual activity all the time. So, but again, in class that you're paying for, take a different class, bro. Anyways, but Ragnar like breaks them up, but then he finds the Ghoulish Tales comic that Wes has on him, and then Ragnar starts reading it aloud. So it's like, oh no, is this it? Is this the Ghoulie summoning? But as it happens, Ragnar stops and shuts the comic, and the Ghoulie summoning stops. So like they're really edging us with this Ghoulie stuff. They're like, oh, is it gonna Ghoulie? No, we're not gonna Ghoulie you yet. You'll know when we Ghoulie you.
Don't get ghouled again.
I won't be ghouled again. Ragnar then is like, hey, everyone take out a piece of paper. We're going to do a pop quiz. But he goes to his podium and a giant inflatable alligator inflates on the podium, which makes him mad, understandably. And Ragnar basically threatens everyone because not only is he the professor of their class, but he's also the dean of students and gets to remove them from school. And it's like, again, why are you doing this? Why would you do this? Like,
I don't know.
The dean of students? Even the worst deans at our college, I treated with respect because I understand that there's a way to operate and there's a way to not operate.
Hey, which deans would those be?
Anyways, at Beta Zeta Theta, during a party, one of the guys, Kyle, is hitting on a girl by explaining his complicated tape deck that he has, like his sound system. And he calls it, what does he call it again? One of you guys knows it, right?
It's Mr. Yamabachi.
Mr. Yamabachi.
A name which he repeats multiple times.
I never could get it in my mind, though. I don't know. And don't worry, it's not racist because
I
the
took a note
character
of it.
is Asian. So it's okay for him to have named his speaker an Asian name because.
I thought that was
Now,
the
is
brand.
this
What?
Wasn't the brand Yamabachi?
Is it?
the brand was Yamabachi, but he also called it Mr. Yamabachi.
Yeah.
Wait,
And
Yamabachi is a real name?
Well, it's not.
No.
It's not a real name, but it's the brand of it as shown in the movie. It's the in-universe brand.
Anywho, Wes is making out with Veronica at the party, continuing this make-out thread of them, and all the guys watching comment on it. And this is the part where I think she's like also like getting dangerously close to wiener touch. I'm like, damn, like you're in public, dude. But she doesn't care. Veronica is into that. Joke's on you, I'm into that shit. Then Wes, then we cut to Ragnar. He's grading papers. He gives Wes an F on his. It's like, man, that seems a little harsh. But then I guess thinking about Wes, he picks up the ghoulish tales again. Oh no, it might be time to summon some ghoulies. Not quite. So Kyle tries hitting on another girl by talking about Yamabachi. Mr. Yamabachi.
Got it.
Yeah, got it.
You got it.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to understand that it's not working because women don't care about sound systems. Oh yeah, Veronica wants to go upstairs with Wes. They're gonna go to have intercourse in Skip's room, because it's the room with the equipment. I'm like, what? We'll soon find out what that means. But this is a prospect that Wes is not excited about. But we cut back to Skip and Mookie, and then that third guy who I never remembered his name. And Mookie is asking Skip where Erin is, and Skip's like, well, she'll show up whenever she gets tired of Heilman and the Gammas. It's like, what are you talking about? They're rich, dude. You're gonna lose your girlfriend. And let's be real. In movies, you like the poor guy with the less house gets the girl. In real life, the rich guy with a nice house gets the girl. That's how it works.
A nice house and a Vespa.
And a Vespa. He has it all. It's like, oh,
He
he's a
does.
dickhead. It's like, I assure you that many women marry dickheads. This is not how this works. But there's someone at the door, and I believe at this point that that Skip is convinced that it's Aaron coming finally, having tired of Jeremy Heilman and his wealth and resources. And he opens the door and says, hey, sexy, but it's not Aaron. It is Barkus, McMurray's favorite character.
Ugh. Ugh.
And he's first of all taken aback. thinking
Officer Barkus, the college security officer, is the worst character in this movie. This man has nothing
Hard
redeemable. going for
disagree.
him.
He's amazing.
Well, go on then. Let's hear what Barkus has to
Well,
say.
first he's pissed because he thinks Skip's hitting on him, and gay panic can't allow it. But
Mhm.
Skip gets on Barkus's good side.
Another point in his favor.
I mean, 80s, early 90s, like easy target. But Skip gets on Barkus's good side by commenting on Bonnie, who is Barkus's golf cart that he drives around campus. And Barkus was actually coming to warn Skip about Ragnar being on the warpath this year, which is an interesting situation because it seems like their relationship is adversarial, but there's multiple occasions where Barkus comes to help Skip. So I'm like not sure what their relationship is, and the movie will never make that easier to figure out. But yeah, but Mookie takes the opportunity to go to Bonnie and put a sex doll in the driver's seat and then turn off the parking brake, which leads to Barkus running away to chase his golf cart, which, has a sex doll driving it. It's so funny. Back to Wes and Veronica. They're upstairs, presumably having intercourse on an exercise bike. I don't really understand the physics of this, but
The logistics don't line up.
yeah, nothing works, but it's a movie, so we just let it go. And they're like causing
This movie's sex scenes are kind of off the hook. There's this scene with them starting off on the exercise bike and then falling and having sex, which is weird. But then later on, there's like a scene with some foreplay with a dustbuster. There's like At one point, like Veronica is like immediately after sex doing leg workouts. Like there's a weird exercise kink at play in the writers' room here, and I'm not sure what's going on there, but man, is it a recurring theme.
It's like a cartoon version of what sex is. Like, it's like, oh, this isn't actually how it is. This is how it would be if you were like, I don't know, like 15, and it's like, oh, isn't it funny if it was this? It's like, yeah, it would be funny, dude. Put it in the movie, not in the intercourse. So yeah, yeah, it's just one of those like movies. Like, don't look for logic here. It just is what it is. But yeah, so they're having intercourse on exercise bikes somehow. They're causing a ruckus. They're throwing things around. I think like a shoe goes in like a fish tank. Like they're just ruining. First of all, they're being very disrespectful of Skip's room. And there's a point where like their relationship seems very unhealthy because Wes is in pain and saying no, but Veronica says yes, and just like they fall off a bike. And that's the part where they fall off the bike. I'm like, this relationship feels borderline abusive, but it's 1991. It's all funny. At the party, there's a topless woman with her head stuck in a mounted deer. Just the head of the deer, not the entire deer. That'd be way funnier. And what is it? Skip tries to help her, so he's trying to pull her out of it. But of course, right when he's got his arms around a naked woman or topless woman, his girlfriend Erin walks in and says, I didn't know this was a stag party. And then she leaves. It's like he's clearly trying to help someone whose head is stuck in a deer.
Well, come on. Like the hand placement could have been a little more like helpful.
The nice thing is this is the first instance of Erin's superior one-liners that she exhibits throughout the rest of the movie. Like, man, she gets some of the best lines.
She does get good one-liners. Yeah, I didn't know this was a stag party. It is pretty funny. Although it's technically not a stag. That was, I think, an 8 point, wasn't it?
Okay.
I think so.
Shane, I'm just saying. And I'm technically correct, which is the best kind of correct. So, anywho, Erin is not there to party. She's there to return Skip's letter jacket because she doesn't see a future with a man whose only goal is to be crown prince of pranks. But again, like the person who comes to pick her up is Heilman, who shows up on his Vespa, which I know, McMurray, you're jizzing your jorts over that, but like,
it's true.
The dude's literally doing the same thing that Skip is doing. So how is he the better partner? But then I remembered that Skip's rich. Or no, not Skip. Heilman's rich. So yeah, he actually is the better choice because rich people are just better than us poors, you know?
Hey, she's got a secure future with Heilman.
Yeah.
Everything's uncertain with, what's his face?
Yeah, it'll just be emotionally distant and possibly abusive, but that's fine because he's rich. Also, what does Skip have a Letterman jacket in?
Yankin, bro.
Oh, that's a good question.
You can't get a letter for Yankin.
Yeah, you also can't have toilet goalies, but what are you going to talk about? Like,
I assumed it was probably in like tennis. He looks like a tennis player to me.
Okay.
It's actually in Quidditch.
Dude, you were poking every litigious human being like possible today.
What is Quidditch?
Hey, let me go on a rant about Disney.
Is Quidditch that shit from Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Oh my god. We invite McMurray to one show and he fucking brings up Harry Potter 8 times. You know I don't watch them. You know I haven't read them. Why do you keep bringing them up?
You know wizards make him angry. Why are you doing this to him?
Not wizards. Just J.K. Rowling.
Okay.
Good old Joanne.
Back to Ragnar. He's in his office reading from the Ghoulish Tales. He has a skeleton head on his desk, so you know he's serious. I can't believe.
One thing, describing this Ghoulish Tales comic book, like there's a guy on the front with like a stomach, like he's clearly like some sort of sorcerer, but he's shirtless and his stomach is like this large face that is very reminiscent of like the Ninja Turtles villain Krang, and it's one of those things like they zoom in on this little figure on the cover so many times that like that we're gonna see somebody with a face on their stomach later, and that allowed me to come up with the term Chekhov's Krang, because that is definitely paying off in the third
And yet
act.
it never happens. Spoiler alert.
Or does it?
Or do you? But anyways, I think you're gonna. I think you're gonna talk about how poorly drawn Ghoulish Tales is. Because let me tell you, that's bad art. I'm a comic book reader, sir. I know comic books, and that is bad. It's worse than that. Sure. What was it? The arc of Frankenstein, Agent of Shade. I read during the New 52. Ugh, dreadful. There's like probably one person on Earth who liked that, and they probably don't even listen to this podcast. So next up,
maybe they do.
Oh, but what if they do? But anyways, yeah, skeleton head on his desk. Ragnar, he's into occult stuff. You can't have a skeleton head on your desk. You're into occult stuff. Or into, I guess, Shakespeare. Because what is it? Alas, poor Yorick. That kind of thing. Back at the fraternity house, an ornate Ghoulies toilet is bubbling as the Ghoulies arrive. Because Ragnar is finally finishing the incantation. He's summoning our boys. The Ghoulies arrive on the scene. We got Fish Ghoulie, who's unhappy that Cat Ghoulie is there. And Rat Ghoulie comes through. And both Rat and Cat Ghoulie bicker so much that the Fish Ghoulie is chagrined, and he bashes their heads together in a very Three Stooges way. So we know who's in charge in this group. It's Fish Ghoulie, who should be Reptile Ghoulie, but I don't make the rules. At the party, at Beta Zeta Theta, the group decides to stop partying and go yank, because apparently you can just go and do pranks ad hoc, like just decide to do it. Skip says that he will only do it if it's a Gamma yank, and Mookie's like, whoa, Gamma has to be locked down. You won't be able to get in there. He's like, don't you worry, I'm the master yanker. So we'll see that. They yell up to Wes, who's still in having, I guess, intercourse with Veronica. They're like, oh, we're going to go yank, and you're in charge of the fraternity house. You have to protect us against the Gammas. So there you go. The Ghoulies, who have arrived and gotten onto the, what's it called? Like a is it a banister? Is a banister like the little stairs shelf you have at the top of stairs and stuff?
Sure.
I always thought it was the handrail.
Oh, dear God. Anyways, they come to the handrail. And,
no, as the banister referred to handrail. So yes, you're correct.
Oh, okay. So the Ghoulies, like, they come to the banister and they're looking at the other guys leave, and they hear the sounds of intercourse coming from Veronica and Wes's place. Well, I guess Skip's room, but they're the ones doing it. Rat Ghoulie says it sounds like something screws going down. The first of many great puns and hilarious jokes that I won't be able to relate all of them, because that's not the thing we do here. So just so you know, if I say any of their jokes, it's because they're bangers, but they say probably like 100 to 200 more of them. They go in and they leer at Veronica's butt because her butt's in the air. Again, like the geography of this sex doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter. It's happening. They throw their bra and it like lands on one of their heads. All right. Glad you guys are here. The Ghoulies are then summoned.
Well, I mean, what do you want us to tell you? I'd be like, yes.
Okay. The Ghoulies are then summoned by Ragnar to appear before their Dark Master, who is him now because he's read from the Ghoulish Tales. So he summons them. The Ghoulies get summoned and they bicker about it. What is it? They're like, where's the bodacious babe? And then like the Cat Ghoulie asks Ragnar if he has any eclairs, because somehow he like manifested inside like a snack thing. Ragnar is suddenly alarmed. He's like, oh, what have I done? And then he like tells them to go away, which teleports them back to the fraternity house bathroom. And the rules of this teleportation will never make sense. And I know one of you is going to tell me it's because they always go back to the bathroom. We know that's not true.
That's true. They do get teleported to
Neither of us are
a
going to tell you
different
that.
house at one point.
Yeah. No, you were thinking about it. I could sense your anger.
Oh, could you?
I can feel your anger.
It gives you focus, makes you stronger. Anyways, Veronica screams, but it's a fake out because of intercourse stuff. Wes hears the Ghoulies causing a ruckus in the bathroom, so he uses an excuse to get away from Veronica because he's like, I have to go guard the frat or whatever he says. And but he also just wants to get away from her because it seems like their relationship is weird. I mean, I was in college once, but dang. Anyways, he goes to the hallway and he talks to his wiener and he says, "We're safe now." So he does.
I know he does. I think it's funny.
Is that a weird way to phrase? How should I phrase it if that's not a good way to phrase it?
No, that's good.
No, you got
He
it.
opens up with
Got it in one.
boxer friend, talks to his wiener, and like, what are you gonna do? He goes to investigate the bathroom, but he gets too close to the ghoulie toilet, the ornate ghoulish toilet, and gets grabbed by Fish Ghoulie, who asks him if he ever thinks to knock. He didn't, because it's his bathroom. He has probably a lease on this. Fish Ghoulie, you're the trespasser. Rat Ghoulie shows up, and there's a lot of like back and forth here. Like, yeah, he's on his way. And then like Rat Ghoulie shows up with like a scrub brush, like a toilet scrub brush. And it's like 2 balls, 1 strike, because he hits him in the nuts. So Wes collapses. By the way, they said like 3 other jokes, and that's why I was like, I think the ratio of jokes is like for every 4 jokes, 1 hits. Because like they say some other ones. I think one of them says he's going to the ballpark, and it's like, I didn't even know he was going to hit him in the nuts until then, but then he did, and he's like 2 balls, 1 strike. I'm like, oh, I get it. Testicles. Anyways, Veronica back in whose room is it? Skip's room. She's working out on a rowing machine because why not? Veronica asks Wesley if he's in the toilet, and then we cut to Wesley actually being forced into the toilet by Rat Goblin, and his legs are up by his head. He's like in there. He's definitely already probably dying.
A really great juxtaposition joke there.
It was very funny, yeah.
Him being, because here's the thing, he is in the
toilet.
So good.
As you should say on the toilet. She said in the toilet. It's like, good news, he is. The Ghoulies are running wild in the house, constantly quipping at each other. Didn't write down a lot of them, just random chatter, fun ideas. That when they come to a closet and open it, and that's when all the clothes of the closet fall out on them like a avalanche of like cartoon style like clothes falling on them. And when they pop up, they're all now clothed. And what is it? Cat Ghoulie asks Rat Ghoulie what his major is, and he hits him. And what are their clothes? So we have one of them has a Fish Ghoulie has like a beanie hat.
Yeah, he's got a hat on, and I'm trying to remember. I can't remember what his shirt was.
So, like, who's everyone's favorite Ghoulie? Because, like, that's what I feel like everyone's thinking.
I'm a big fan of Cat Ghoulie. I think that he's got a pretty funny sense of humor, and he's wearing that football jersey.
Okay.
I like Fish Ghoulie. I like how he's like put upon. Like he has to like run this, and he's like not very happy with his companions, and he's just like doing his best.
I'm also Fish Ghoulie.
I feel like these Ghoulies have a very like Three Stooges type of relationship.
They
like,
do.
Fish Ghoulie is definitely the Mo. Cat Ghoulie is definitely the Curly, and Rat Ghoulie is definitely the Larry.
You're right, yeah. And that's probably on purpose, honestly. But it's never like made quite clear, except the times where Fish Ghoulie goes and smashes their heads against each other to stop them from doing nonsense. It's like, oh, there we go. And that's an old Three Stooges thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're running wild. Eventually get to a closet open and get their clothes. So we saw their clothes got. Rat Ghoulie takes a hatchet and smashes Mr. Yamabachi. Got it. He smashes him up. He's like, I hate music. And he doesn't say that, but Fish Ghoulie takes a croquet mallet to a display of sports trophies and whatnot. And then Cat Ghoulie is eating, which leads to another fight between Rat and Cat, which ends with Fish Ghoulie bashing them together. And then they yell beer run, and then they run to the fridge. At the fridge, they find what we will later learn is supposed to be like 2,000 beers. Cat Ghoulie says he'll just take one, but he takes it from the bottom of a pyramid that's there, which results in all of the beers collapsing onto the Ghoulies. Don't worry, they'll be able to deal with it.
All 2001.
Yeah, and they're crushed to death, and that's the end of the movie. If only. Anyways, meanwhile, Skip and Mookie arrive at the Gamma House, and they see Heilman and some other guy having like a piss race in the yard, which is a thing? Is that a thing?
Not that I know of.
I think for that group that is.
I'm just saying, I'm like, what, 6'2", 300 pounds? Like, I think I could carry way more urine than like a dude who's like 5'2" and like 150. Doesn't seem like a fair fight to me.
Nope.
Youth these days. Anyways, we don't have time to dwell on it because what is it? Skip takes out a slingshot, and then what is it? Like Mookie's like, you can't shoot him. He's like, don't worry, I have a plan. He like shoots his slingshot, like shoots a little rock at a lion statue in the yard of that fraternity house, which causes the guy that's next to Heilman to turn and pee on him. It's like, look at you using like Last of Us logic. You know, because if you throw a thing, you make a noise, they turn that way.
Pretty solid goof.
Whatever. Not all of them can win winners, guys. Back at the fraternity house, the Ghoulies are working on drinking all of the beers that they found. It's basically just like a series of like watching the pile of beer cans pile up higher and higher, and then cutting to the Ghoulies burping and farting. So if you like burps and farts, you're going to love this. If you don't, maybe fast forward. Rat Ghoulie accidentally somehow ends up drinking drain cleaner. It doesn't kill him, but it does make him blow steam out of his ears because I guess they're immortal monster creatures, so they can just do what they want. But they want to play a joke on Cat Ghoulie, so he hands it to Cat Ghoulie, who thinks it's another beer, and he drinks it, and he's just okay with it. What is he? He says less filling.
Like takes it straight to the face.
Yeah, he's also steaming out the ears. He's like, oh, less filling. Like, all right, Cat Ghoulie, you menace. Skip and Mookie then find Jeremy Heilman's scooter, or Vespa. Is Vespa a scooter or what?
It's a specific brand of Italian scooter.
Is it the one that the guy from The Pope's Exorcist drove from Italy to Spain?
Man,
almost certainly.
You snuck that back in.
I did.
I didn't think we were going to get it.
I'm always the sneakiest boy. People don't know how sneaky I can be.
Especially when it comes to The Pope's Exorcist.
Especially when it comes to Russell Crowe just driving a Vespa across Europe. Anyways.
Right across the Alps.
Hannibal brought elephants and he brought a Vespa. Anyways, cut to Ghoulies. They drank all the beers. And there's an avalanche of beer cans onto Cat Ghoulie, so you know things are serious. Skip and Mookie, meanwhile, set up their prank, and it seems to be that their idea is when the scooter drives, it'll pull a gate down on a garbage truck, which will spill trash on it. So there you go. What a plan. I do not know how they know how much tensile strength it takes to only pull this, but not pull that. Don't worry, the movie will never explain that either. But the Ghoulies are in the garbage truck somehow. And they show up and they do the first of a couple times. They'll do their prank week. Pancake.
Pancake?
Yeah, so Cat Ghoulie at the end goes pancake, and then they both Rat Ghoulie hits, or they hit him, right? Isn't that what they do?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But then Rat Ghoulie takes a sledgehammer, he's going down, and he goes to like, I'm gonna do some body work. It's like, okay, buddy. It's like one of the only times to see Ghoulies walk in this. It's this one. It's like, enjoy it, because it won't happen a lot. The Beta Zeta Thetas arrive at their house and find the aftermath of the Ghoulies' like destruction. And it includes the destruction of Mr. Yamabuchi?
Nope. Close. Yamabachi.
Yamabachi. Anyways, he's destroyed.
That's
And
it.
Kyle's not happy about it. The guys go to find Wes since he didn't protect the frat like he said he would. and they assume that the Gammas kidnapped him. You know, we know that Wes has been flushed, but and they're like,
I guess that happened last time, though. Didn't they say that?
what's that? Oh,
They
yeah.
kidnapped Wes the year prior.
Yes, they talk about how Wes had been kidnapped before. So this is not an uncommon occurrence. But this is the part where they find that all 2,001 of their beers have been drank.
The Ghoulies are really putting in some work getting those beers down.
Moment of silence.
My goodness.
Yeah, but anyway, Skip notes that a yank is a yank is a yank, but this is war. And he said, but first, Wes is dead. I'm like, oh, Wes is already dead, first of all. Anyways, back in Veronica's room, Skip is there trying to find out if Wes has contacted her since the prior night, and she notes that he skipped out on her in the middle of the evening, which we know because he was flushed down the toilet. But then she removes her robe and she's like in lingerie. It's like, oh no, she's gonna do something. She's trying to seduce Skip, and she says her bra clasp broke, and it's like, oh no, you should fix it. I was like, was he a scientist? He's in a philosophy class, but he like reaches across to try to fix it. But then the Queen of Terrible Timing arrives. Erin shows up, and she's there with Heilman, by the way. And, after the moment where, Skip's like, it's not what it looks like. It's like, yeah, clearly you're trying to help her fix her bra. Like, it's not complicated. But the two square up. Skip accuses the Gammas of trashing their house, and Heilman accuses Skip of destroying his scooter. But Erin, being the queen of terrible decisions, is on Heilman's side and says, like, I knew a lot about you, but I didn't think you were a vandal or whatever. And he's like, I guess we learned a lot about each other this morning, because he thinks she went to the Bone Zone with Heilman, which it seems like she did, because she came the morning after. But she seems shocked as he leaves. Anyways, while Skip's walking away from the dorm, Mookie arrives, and Skip is like all about, I gotta get Erin back. I gotta do what I gotta do to get her back. It's like, do ya? She seems like she's plowing down with that rich dude, but okay. Mookie wants to focus on the prank war because Mookie's very single-minded. And the two of them arrive to find the destroyed scooter hanging from a tree. So now they see the level of
Pancake?
Prank week?
Wrong order, but we'll do it. Barkus arrives and he puts both boys in a headlock because he's a campus police, so he can do what he wants. And he says that if they get another prank week thing, oh no, this is when the other prank week pancake thing shows up. And the Ghoulies go and tamper with Bonnie. Let's try it again. Prank week?
Pancake?
No!
Prank week.
This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Anyways.
Pancake?
Anyways. After a vague threat, Barkus chases after Bonnie. And then he gets it and realizes that he gets shocked, right? This is when he gets electrocuted but not cuted, just electric. Ragnar, now seemingly over his mind block, summons the Ghoulies again. They are annoyed with him because they wanted to do prank stuff, but Ragnar threatens them with the Ghoulish Tales book, which controls them. He's been reading up on them. So he orders them to go steal the prank crown so that he can end the prank war once and for all. And he says for them to be gone, and they just teleport to the Gamma house in the room where the crown is. So that's what I'm saying. These rules don't make sense, but they are what they are. They find the crown there, by the way.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Anyways, Barkus arrives at Erin's sorority house, I guess. We decided it was a sorority house, right?
Yeah.
Where Veronica and
I do want to say...
Sorry, go ahead.
I do want to say, whenever the Ghoulies are teleported into the other house, they have a pretty good joke where Ragnar is telling them, like, I need you to go get that crown, and then he teleports them away, and as soon as they teleport, one of the Ghoulies, like, looks around and goes, what a coincidence!
Yeah, they do. They do kind of put like a.
Even they question the validity of their teleportation.
They don't
magic.
understand their own teleportation magic. Like, what a coincidence! We're in the place we need to be. That is true. Yeah. So, what is it? Next up is Barkus arrives at Erin's sorority house to warn her and the rest of the women living there at the sorority house about how there's apparently an impending panty raid. Super sus, because he says what, like, I can hold on to your girls' panties for the weekend and I can give them back to you Monday or even Tuesday. It's like, Barkus, don't be like that.
Ugh. He's not doing himself any favors, that's for sure.
It's not very cash money of him. However, the horn of Bonnie goes off, and Barkus realizes something's going on with Bonnie, so he runs off, and the Ghoulies stole Bonnie. And they have a bunch of one-liners. I don't really remember any of them. I think they're just like, one of them is like sick to his stomach because they're driving too fast or something. You guys remember?
Oh yeah, one of them definitely gets some motion sickness here, and the first time I was watching this, I would have put any money down on the fact that we were going to see just like an exorbitant amount of ghoulie vomit. But the filmmakers show some restraint and don't actually show rat ghoulie vomiting.
You thought we were going to see like that scene in Team America World Police where he just vomits in the alley for like 12 minutes?
Exactly that, yeah.
Well,
that's what I was suspecting.
Well, we don't get a lot of follow-up on that because we cut to Miss Boggs. She's reading a History of Comics book, which actually there is an actual book called History of Comics, and it is not that book. But, suddenly the Ghoulies teleport into Ragnar's office and give him the prank crown as he requested. Ragnar tells the Ghoulies to kill him, to kill himself, to kill Ragnar. And he goads them, but it seems they can't attack the master. So as long as Ragnar's in possession of the book, they cannot attack him. And they were about it. They were ready for it. They're like, yeah, let's kill him.
Or if they do, doesn't he like morph with them or something?
No, they can't kill him. They literally can't attack him.
If he's holding the book.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see later how that evolves. Ragnar's assistant, Miss Boggs, comes into the room to explain that she learned that Ghoulish Tales is in fact a literal translation of some medieval text. But she sneezes because she's allergic to cats. And then the Ghoulies arrive and they're like, hey, we're here. One of us is a cat ghoulie. And then they're like, is she famous? It's like, she was on Newhart, which we mentioned earlier, which is very funny.
Another great joke.
And then Ragnar says, what? Hold your tongue. And the cat says, allow me, and grabs it. And they spin her around and choke her with her own tongue in a cartoon way because her tongue is stretched out 1,000 times. So Miss Boggs is dead, but it's very funny. So
oh no,
we're not that sad about it. At the women's home. Oh, at the sorority house.
At the women's home. Okay.
Yeah. My notes are a problem. Yeah, at the sorority house, Mookie, Kyle, and that other Beta Zeta guy who I cannot remember his name. They arrive at the girls' dorm to start prepping for their panty raid. By the way, we don't have to get into this right now. We can take this offline. But I've never understood why do you want women's underpants? Like,
it's so they can fly them from the flagpole as like a sort of like, look what we did.
But they didn't have intercourse
sort of thing,
or anything. They just like stole their undergarments.
No.
It seems so stupid.
Well,
I guess
it walks like a duck.
I guess I'm glad I was born when I was born because I was like, this is such a dumb idea.
Fair.
But yeah, so they're prepping for the panty raid. Veronica is coming back in, and she's warned by Buffy, one of the women in charge. But Veronica's preparing for a date already. Wes has been gone for less than 24 hours. In the 80s, where you didn't have cell phones, or in the early 90s, but still didn't have cell phones. So she's unconcerned. She doesn't care about it. Like, they can take them. And then when she's in her room getting changed, she hears the Buffy talking to the other women, and they're talking about there's probably already a horny man outside. And then Veronica decides to like be an exhibitionist and dance around in her underwear with her window open. Yeah, we get an idea for what her character is. Unfortunately, one of the people watching is Barkus.
Ugh.
Well, don't worry.
Perpetual sex predator, Barkus.
Don't worry, McMurray. He will be quickly drawn low when the ghoulies use a saw to cut the branch out from under him. Like a cartoon. And he just falls.
At this point, I was fully rooting for the Ghoulies and pretty much no one else.
Well,
especially not
They
Barkus.
also become sex criminals because they take his place and watch Veronica as she dances. Meanwhile, 3 of the Beta Zeta Thetas, the other 3 guys I was talking about, try to sneak into the laundry room. And they spy on a girl who's there changing. And she does something like that to me would be like, this is sus. She takes off her underpants and puts them in a clothes basket and leaves the room. I'm like, bro, all of your spider senses should be tingling. This is a trap. But they don't know it. So they're going to go in. Back to the Ghoulies. Veronica leaves the room, but she seems to be beckoning anyone watching her to follow by doing something weird with her undergarments. The Betas, though, oh man, this cut is terrible. So the Betas go back to the Beta guys. They go into the laundry room. They're ambushed by the girls who live there. What a surprise. Who would have thought that this was a trap?
Bum, bum,
But
Yeah, this was torture for those guys.
yeah,
huh?
they're getting like hit by pillows.
Oh, yeah.
It's literally like a pillow fight where they're just getting hit by pillows while all the women are topless. I'm like, is this suffering? Is this what suffering is?
There's a scene later on where they act like defeated that they did not gain their objective on the panty raid, and man, I gotta say, like this seems like an absolute win. Like, I know you didn't get your objective, but like this is what you want on that sort of thing, I would imagine. Like, well, I don't understand why they could possibly be sad after this. They get the attention of many, many topless women.
Yeah, if a bunch of topless women hit me with feather down pillows when I was in college, I wouldn't be like, what a terrible night.
I know.
That just wouldn't be my reaction. But
It's absurd.
I also never had some stupid as shit goals like steal panties. It's so dumb, though. Anyways,
It is.
anywho, after the Betas just getting beat on by girls, topless girls with pillows, like, oh, what suffering. The Ghoulies go into the bathroom and watch Veronica shower because they are perverts. There are 2 other girls. There's 3 shower stalls, 1 girl to each side of Veronica. But at some point, the other 2 girls depart. So the Ghoulies stack on top of each other in like a trench coat style. So they're like face level with her. Fish Ghoulies on top. And he has a plunger in his hand. So they open it. She screams. He hits her in the face with the plunger. And he has a one-liner, right? Something about suck.
Dang. I didn't write this one down. Yeah, but it had something to do with sucking.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to suck face?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So he like grabs her by the face and she like cartoonishly her face stretches out. She's dead. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Very, very Tim Burton looking face
Yes.
stretching technique here. It looks a lot like the what's her face from Beetlejuice.
Yep. She pulls her hair back or whatever.
Yeah. Well, what's
Spoken
her
like
name?
2 guys who had never watched
Gina
any Stuart
Davis.
Gordon or Brian Yuzna movies.
You know, fair.
It is fair. Because y'all need to watch Society. We live in a society. Remember, I thought you were going to say it, but you didn't, and then I needed
You teed it up for me, and I chose to not say it. I chose to leave you hanging.
Jag. Anyways, so what's next? Barkus confronts Skip, blaming him for all the problems with Bonnie, and Skip's like, whatever, dude. But Barkus is an idiot, and he wrecks his cart, so, alright, good enough. Skip goes to talk to Aaron, and he thinks that they're in good shape, alright? Like, he's like, he didn't yank, he didn't prank, he didn't do any of it, but she's upset with him because of the panty raid. And he's like, I didn't do it. He's like, but you knew about it. And now my wardrobe is ruined. Oh, I forgot to cover this. So when they were in Veronica and what's her name? Aaron's room, the Ghoulies took all their panties out and drooled on them.
Just trashed him, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like he's like, what? They did that? It's like she's mad at him for it. He's like, he didn't have anything to do with it, but she doesn't know Ghoulies exist yet. So Skip confronts Mookie and the guys, and they explain they lost. This is where they're very like what's the word? Forlorn. They're very forlorn about it. They're like, oh, we didn't succeed. Instead we said a bunch of topless girls hit us with pillows. We've lost. It's like, buddy, that seems like an absolute win. But
what a horrible thing.
And then the girls from the what is it? I can't remember the name of the sorority. Like, yeah, whatever.
No,
they come in and they're like, we're gonna send your pants up the flagpole. So yeah, we just stole their pants. The underpants are different. Like, anyways. But the point is, Skip is like, we didn't do any of that. We didn't do anything. We failed in our mission. So something's clearly afoot. In the class, Ragnar writes evil and power on the board, and is going off about how evil will never be defeated by good. And Aaron says some dumb shit like, once. Where like, what is it? I believe good can always prevail. And Ragnar's like, you suck. I think he's like, you're wrong. I'm in charge now. But Ragnar's like, I'm very close to recommending certain people and fraternities be expelled from this campus. And as soon as Skip goes off about he's like done, it's like, I'm not cranking, I'm not yanking, I'm not doing anything anymore. Never again. Heilman triggers a remote device that basically blows up Ragnar's podium. It's like an obvious setup because like the triggering device goes to the desk where Skip's sitting, which probably we didn't have assigned seating in college. So how did Heilman always know that was going to be a seat?
I mean, despite not having assigned seating, we did usually tend to like gravitate towards the same seats in the same areas every day. At least I did.
Yeah, me too. I'm also a normal person.
Well, listen, I'm just saying it's not rocket science that he could have figured out where he would be sitting.
In any case, it was a setup by Heilman. Oh no. Skip tries to claim innocence, but Ragnar will not hear it and tells Skip to kiss college goodbye. So Skip talks about how there's something else afoot. I guess this is one of the most interesting parts of the movie because he's like, I didn't break the desk. I didn't trash Heilman's scooter. I didn't raid the panties or any of these. He's like going through all the things. And then like he talks about Wes. And then like Heilman is like, we didn't kidnap Wes, dude. He's like, I believe you. Like Skip is so close to figuring it all out, but no time for that. We have a movie to get to. The remaining Beta Zeta. What?
Oh, I just gave a giggle.
How dare you? Anyways, the remaining Beta Zeta Thetas leave singing a song, presumably their fraternity song, in solidarity with Skip. Quick interlude of the Ghoulies, then we're back to Skip and the guys at the fraternity house to do some more prank. They want to get some, what is it? Skip is trying to be like, guys, don't throw away your futures. We got to, which by the way, just because your fraternity's kicked off campus doesn't mean you're removed from the college. You just have to go back into the dorms. Like that's how it works. Mookie correctly deduces this is all about Aaron, and Mookie's talking about how Aaron is probably getting down with Heilman as they speak, which is probably true, and it results in Skip pushing Mookie. So Mookie's like, I used to think you were so cool. You were like so awesome. Like it's just like the dissolution of his hero worship of Skip, which is probably good because I think Mookie's probably better at it than Skip is. Meanwhile, Ragnar is giving the Ghoulies instructions to kill Skip. He's just done. He's like, kill Skip. It's kill Skip. I can't remember his last name. It's
Crawford?
Carter. He's like, kill Skip Carter. And then he says it over and over again. And he's like, the Ghoulies, that's one of my funniest things from Ragnar. He's like, the Ghoulies have no dicks. And the Ghoulies are like, Ragnar has no dick. And it's like, you almost got him. But I just love the idea that he'd go to that. That's why I love that Kevin McCarthy's in this movie. Like, he's just down for like the random bullshit. What is it? Heilman is bragging to the other Gammas about how he framed Skip, but he's doing it in a public place by the coffee machine we saw earlier. So Erin hears it and she's like, okay. She pours coffee down Heilman's pants. And
another great one-liner by Aaron here is, "You're twice as ugly when you're two-faced."
Yeah, she does say
Damn,
that.
girl.
She knows. And it's really funny because she's like, this is the best, the first act she'd have had below the belt in a long time or whatever, and just pours coffee on him. And the guy's like, that's not what you told us. And it's like, oh, so Hoffman's been lying. He's a liar, man. That doesn't work. Cut that, Shane. That's not good. Anyways, Aaron goes to Skip, and they seemingly reconcile. Oh, shit, I forgot. The end of the last part with the coffee is Heilman's like, we got to go destroy Skip because he still has a hold on Aaron. It's like, dude, I think she doesn't like you, dude. Anyways, Aaron goes to Skip. They seemingly reconcile. However, the Ghoulies are also nearby, planning to fulfill their orders to kill Skip. We cut to Aaron and Skip in bed together, and apparently Skip was using a dust devil in their intercourse.
Just absolute wild. But how could you even apply that to anything involved in that process?
I don't know, but I'm sure a bunch of people tried after seeing this.
Depends on the settings, but I could see a way.
I mean, does anybody know where to find an old dustbuster?
In my
No
closet.
reason. Ooh.
In Stefan's bedroom.
Hey.
No, it's in my closet with my vacuum and my mop, like where all my cleaning supplies are. They stay there and they must never emerge.
It's like those plants that no one waters. They're just like dead. They're just sitting in there.
Yeah, they're dead. Dead AF fam. Anyways, Aaron tells Skip that Heilman rigged the disc to frame him. And he's like, well, I want to tell Ragnar. But he knows Ragnar won't believe him because Ragnar's a dick and also controls the Ghoulies. Aaron's like, I think Ragnar might believe me, so I'll do it. It's like, all right. Bet. So they go. Heilman's main underling. What's his main underling's name again? Yeah, I should have wrote his name down. Is it like Dennis or Warpfield
Blaine.
or Gorbis?
Isn't it Blaine?
It is Blaine. It's not Gorbis.
Yeah, you were close.
So yeah, Blaine comes into Beta Zeta Theta House in order to light a bomb. And it's a huge, comically huge bomb with a lit fuse. And you guys insist that it's supposed to be a stink bomb, but
you know what? I like that you think it's going to be a
I
real
think it's a
bomb.
real
So
bomb.
let's keep that going. Let's keep it going.
But the Ghoulies show up and they
It very much, the bomb that shows up very much has a Adam West Batman. Sometimes you just can't get rid of a bomb.
It is.
Vibe.
It is the Adam West bomb. But the Ghoulies think that Blaine is Skip. So they hit him in the face with a pan and kill him.
Which, like, why did they cut this scene out?
I don't know.
That's such a good kill. That, like, what? So for people listening,
Inside
you should go to
baseball, yeah.
IMDb and look at the photos. There must have been a cut scene where they hit Blaine in the face with a frying pan, and it flattens his face and gives him eggs for eyes and like bacon for like facial features. It's kind of funny.
Several days later.
Aaron and Skip are in Ragnar's office, or in the building at least, hoping to convince him that Skip is innocent. They marvel at all the creepy shit that he has in his office. He has like ravens and skeleton heads. Just seems like a guy who's maybe read a lot of Edgar Allan Poe. But isn't he supposed to be a classics professor though?
Yeah,
We think.
Kind of doesn't make sense.
not a lot.
Wasn't quite a murder of crows, but it was a couple of ravens. Oh, and this is when Skip says, it's Heckle and Jekyll. I was reminded of the VHS copies of Heckle and Jekyll that I used to watch with my dad when I was a kid. And I was like, oh, it is them. But anyways, they find and open a sarcophagus, and they find Miss Boggs,
Hey.
murdered by her own tongue. Full tongue in view. They try to flee, but they run into Heilman and his minions. Their characters are...
Well, hold on. Their reaction to finding the body are a little hilarious because Aaron is understandably freaked out by finding a body and like screams, but Skip's reaction is, "Jesus, the pranking crown!" And it's like, that's what you're concerned about, buddy? Not the body of a staff member?
Yeah, for the audience, the pranking crown is on Miss Boggs' body. It's on her head.
Yes.
So yeah, but honestly,
Right.
you seen one corpse, you seen them all, is what I always say.
I don't know, man. I think a corpse with a distended tongue wrapped around their neck, I think that's a little, that might be a little different than other corpses, one might say.
But here's the thing, McMurray. We don't know how often this happens. How often do they have tongues that get stretched? If it is physically possible here, maybe it happens all the time. Maybe it is one of the top 3 New York City
Tongue
crimes.
strangulation.
Murders by tongue.
Very well
Alongside, I
could
don't know,
be.
turlet killings. Turlet killings with ghoulies. We don't know. It's a cartoon world. It's a cartoon world, and it has no rules.
Anyway.
Back to it. They go to leave, and they find Heilman and his boys. They go ahead and beat on Skip a lot, like while holding him back, holding his hands back, which is like one of my least favorite things. I've never fought a man with his hands encumbered, and I never will. And I don't think I respect a man who does. Like how his friends hold his arms back while he gets beat up by Heilman.
Okay, yeah.
Would you ever follow a man who does that?
No.
No, almost certainly not.
I would not. And it's wild to me that it happens in movies all the time. I would lose so much respect for that person that I would leave their service. I might have fought him there on the spot. He's weak, and I could have taken leadership for myself and taken control of the organization.
Yeah.
Maybe we come from a nobler place.
Could be.
From a land down under?
We come from a land down under.
Almost. It was good.
So, they're beating the shit out of Skip, but he manages to break Erin free. She goes to run away, and 2 of the other guys, I think, go after her, but Heilman's like, no, let her go. I'm just going to beat the shit out of this guy. Erin finds a phone and tries to call 911, but she accidentally calls 411, and they tell her, we don't do murders. Call 911 if you need to report a murder. It's like, is 411 just going to ignore it? Like, legally, can they? Can anyone?
They're just so unconcerned with the murder reporting. Pretty solid.
There's actually a similarly funny scene in the 1988 The Blob remake, which I've been watching over and over and over again because it's going to be leaving Tubi soon. There's a girl who calls 911 and says, I'm being crushed by an alien monster. And they say, we're not going to make it in time. Actually, I think it's that she tries to call the sheriff's office in a phone booth. It's very funny. Y'all need to just watch The Blob, although I don't know how you can now. It's gone from Tubi. But anyways, Heilman explains to Skip that he has a plan to blow up a building on campus and frame Skip for it. So, actual terrorism. Cool. Back in the library, Erin tries to flee from Ragnar, claiming that she didn't see anything, but she runs into the Ghoulies. They come out from the stacks, like, hey, we're in the books, baby. She's screaming, but then we get to Skip, and Skip hears it, and he's like, no, she needs help. And Heilman's like, she's a bitch.
Like, bitch ain't worth it.
What is it? This
is Popeye moment.
It's like she doesn't need it. Oh yeah, that bitch ain't worth it. That's the line. That's what he says. Right. That gives Skip the spinach he needs, and he beats the absolute brakes off of all 4 of these guys. They aren't that tough guys, apparently. And I don't know if this is a thing from like the 80s or 90s, where guys are just like weaker, but there's a 0% chance that these guys would be able to beat us in a fight.
Yeah, Heilman doesn't even try to fight. He's pretty wimpy in this. I guess Vespas aren't everything.
Okay, Erin is now tied down on the table, and the Ghoulies are very excited to torture. They love it. But that leads to Ragnar referring to the rat ghoulie as his ghoulish friend, which I love that line so much. It's soon my ghoulish friend. That's Kevin McCarthy. He's into this. He's having a good time. That's all I need to know. Next up, Skip breaks in through the door, which surprises Ragnar because he thought that Skip was dead. And the Ghoulies are like, well, we killed someone. It's like, well, wrong guy. We explained earlier, right, that when the Ghoulies killed Blaine, they thought they were killing Skip. They're dumb. The Ghoulies, they're dumb.
We sure did.
And what was their plan? They collapse a bunch of books onto Skip and like, that'll kill him. And Skip just like
He just
gets
like
out.
rocked
He's
like
I'm
four
fine.
fucking frat guys. You think these shitty like probably encyclopedias are gonna stop him? I don't know.
Not today. Not on this day. Skip busts out, and then he squirts the Ghoulies with his water gun, which has glue in it.
Oh
I forgot to mention that earlier. So he's just like juicing maximum goo on these
glue.
Ghoulies. Goopy glue. He shoots them with so much goopy glue. Dude.
It sure does. It's so much glue.
All right, gross.
Yeah, they're straight up getting bukkakied by glue. We'll see how
I
much.
don't like this part. I wanted it to be cut.
I don't know. We'll see. Have fun explaining this one to your mom.
Oh, also, I like that the Ghoulies' idea of torture is just like they just have Erin tied down and they're just repeatedly stamping her with a library stamp.
Stamping. Yeah.
That's the only
It
thing
was
they're
so
doing
funny.
to torture her, and she's just like screaming. That's true.
I think that they wanted to do more, but they ran out of time. But I like
It's like,
that
who
that's
was
where they
this
started.
for?
What was the stamp? I can't remember what the stamp was. Like late?
Yeah.
Was it
it's-
late
was-
or overdue?
knows?
I don't know. Something like that. Who knows? The Ghoulies are incapacitated. Ragnar is as well because the light fixture swung out and hit him in the head because of the tectonic event that I failed to mention. So Skip is able to cut Aaron free and he grabs the comic. So he has the ghoulish tales in his possession and he tells the Ghoulies to kill Ragnar instead. So they go and attack him because, they do it because they're Ghoulies. Ragnar's like, do it. I'll absorb your powers. It's like, oh, he can't do that. Well, turns out he can. He goes behind a bookshelf where there's a ton of crazy lighting effects and stuff like that. Going to investigate, Skip and Aaron find that Ragnar has been reduced to a gooping green, bubbling
Literally,
green
yeah.
goo man.
Exactly
How
like
would you
that.
describe
Some
it?
electricity crackling, like, but
Gooping.
mostly goo.
Yeah. But from inside the bubbling corpse, a hand reaches out, suggesting this isn't over. But we're too busy. Heilman arrives at Skip's house, the Beta Zeta Theta house, in order to try to get Skip with a baseball bat. I guess he decided that having several allies didn't work, so I'll just try a baseball bat now. I'll tell you right now, in my experience, several allies are way better
He's
than a
really
baseball
swinging
bat.
away at that thing. Yeah.
How about several baseball bats?
Several allies with
Or
baseball
just
bats?
several
My
baseball
God.
bats.
Just hold
Yeah.
4 baseball bats and be like, what's up?
I feel like there's a law of diminishing returns when it comes to baseball bats. Like one baseball bat.
I feel like there's a lot of diminishing
fair.
returns on this episode here.
On me?
No, it's
Sorry,
it's
I didn't mean to
fine.
cut your joke off. Go ahead. Do it.
I mean, if you think about it,
tell me
one
with
baseball
baseball
bat
bats.
is probably your most effective weapon. By the time you get to 4, like, what are you even doing? Like, how do you hold that many? How do you swing that many?
Like
That's
General Grievous.
Well, if I'm
General
Goro,
Kenobi.
yeah. 4 arms, no morals. 4 arms, no morals, baby.
Only money.
My tricks don't work on me because I was trained in your Jedi
What was that
arts
joke?
by Count Dooku.
Mind tricks don't work on me, only money.
I think.
What was
I think.
Stefan? What was the joke? What was the joke we were doing with we were saying quotes? Oh, it was Matthew McConaughey lines from his movies. They
Yes.
keep getting good. I keep staying the same, or whatever. Well, I don't know. Whatever.
High school kids. I keep getting older. The high school kids stay the same age, I
Those are
think.
rookie numbers, I think.
Yeah,
Like that, right?
yeah. Pretty much, we were doing that.
You need to push those numbers, I think. Those are rookie numbers.
I'm like,
folks,
get in the
it's,
TiVo.
folks, it's getting pretty late.
All right, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to
Keep
keep
on,
going.
Yeah, I'm
keep
not
it
watching
on.
part 2. So Skip has the book and told him to kill him. Yeah.
From inside the bubbling, gooping goo corpse, a hand arises, suggesting this isn't over. Heilman arrives at Skip's house in order to try to, I don't know, kill Skip with a baseball bat. He's finally done. I mean, hey, we all are. But he's rich, so can't relate to him too much. The attack is interrupted by Super Ragnar, who arrives. He has the monster face in his belly. Is this Schrodinger's Krang?
Yes.
Schrodinger's Krang.
This is
Nick Murray?
Schrodinger's Krang.
So the comic
Murray.
like has a little 3D model that pops out like in the place of the stomach on the cover of the comic. There's like this little claymation like 3D model, and it is so good. That's not what we're talking about. Yeah, we're talking about Ragnar. We're talking about Ragnar having the full Krang on his belly, and it's like, and he has the party crown on his head, and his belly mouth is like synced up with his real life mouth, so all of his lines are being said by both. It's so good. This effect is wonderful. It's exactly what I was hoping for when I spied that comic book cover at the beginning.
What's his nuts? Heilman, who arrives at Skip's house for like the third time, trying to mess him up with a baseball bat. His attack is interrupted by Super Ragnar. The stomach mouth, the man has arrived. He is so powerful. So Super Ragnar goes in with giant monster face, and he has the prank crown on his head, so you know he's serious. Because who wouldn't be? He reveals that Wes, Veronica, and Blaine are all dead, and he is responsible for them. And you might think, wait, but Wes died before he even got the book. How can that be done on his orders? And the movie says, shut up. I shut it up immediately. Skip uses the power of the book, but apparently Ragnar is beyond that. You can see Ragnar's face on the book, and it's like speaking through it, like it's on the actual front of the book, the tummy mouth. Skip goes to the Ghoulies toilet, the ornate toilet bowl, and throws ghoulish tails in there. That turns it into a vacuum, which sucks Ragnar and his Schrodinger's Krang tummy monster in. After some lights and some crazy effects, sudden toilet flame, and presumably the nightmare is over. Skip says, poor Wes. Aaron says, poor Veronica. And she says, hey, at least they're together. And Skip says, poor Wes again, because of his partner's sometimes violent and weird sexual interests. Oh yeah, Barkus bursts into the room and says that Bonnie was destroyed by the bomb and asks if Skip had anything to do with it. Skip says no, but he hands over Heilman, who is still holding TNT from when he was planning to blow up buildings on campus, which is a terrible amount of terrorism. Like, you can't blow up buildings everywhere you go. The Beta Zeta Thetas arrive and say that the prank war is won, and the prank crown will be coming home. Skip and Mookie make up, although not for any good reason. I'll say what happened. Skip takes the crown back and puts it on his head, and everyone cheers. He kisses his girlfriend, and everyone cheers and all that. So there you go. I thought it would have... what I thought would be a better ending is if he passes the prank crown on to Mookie.
That really would
It's
be
like showing that he's handing down
sure.
passing the torch to the next like generation is like sidekick. Doesn't that make more sense?
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
I really thought he was going to do that, but he doesn't. He puts on the hat and his girlfriend makes out with him. No lessons were learned.
Not a
That's
one.
the ending of Ghoulies 3. No lessons learned. Yeah.
That was Ghoulies Go to
Brat, brat,
3
brat.
colleges. I will say that, the cover of this movie really wrote a check that this movie didn't cash. Those Ghoulies did not attend any classes and did not graduate and did not don the cap and gown, so...
They did not.
Yeah.
It's because they're wearing a
Nope.
cap and gown. These guys never graduated. Come on, son. Well, you know what that means.
What does that mean?
It's time for the category that is the person who's here's namesake, sort of, the McMurder of the movie. How'd you like that sound effect? I regret it.
Loved it.
That was a good one. That one's going to get remixed.
Oh, no.
Get that on a soundboard.
I'd buy that for $1.
I feel like, well, so if the frying pan would have been in there, for sure, the frying pan one, right?
Yeah, that was a pretty good one, yeah.
But as it turns out, that was the least effective one without it in there. So I think it's gotta be what's his face at the beginning.
Really? Not the plunger?
I mean, the plunger was good. It was just kind of quick, though.
So you're thinking Wes when he gets rammed down the toilet?
I'm thinking Wes. Plus, it was along the line of he's in the toilet joke. Like, that's a good joke. Like, they really crammed him in there, and he was all screaming and stuff. Like,
And his legs were up by his head.
mm-hmm.
I was actually going to go with Miss Boggs because of the tongue wrapped around her neck.
Shit.
Oh, yeah, nah, you're right.
Shit, that was a good
Like,
one.
I know it doesn't make sense, but we're not living in a world of logic. We're living in a world of ghoulies.
That's true. That was the most ghoulie-tastic way of death in this movie, so.
I'd like to add one more entry.
Sure.
Jeremy's scooter.
R.I.P. to a real one. Pour one out for our fallen homie.
That poor thing. What a beaut.
Or Bonnie, I guess, right?
Yeah, Bonnie took a lot of abuse out of that movie.
Bonnie needed death. She had to haul Barkus around for all of her life. Oh,
So
Mr.
you hate Barkus so much that you'll even hate Bonnie by extension for being Barkus's pride and joy.
Jeez,
well, no,
man.
Bonnie is a mercy killing because she had to deal with Barkus for that long.
Okay.
Jeez.
Whoa. Tell us how you really feel.
But we're gonna go with Miss Boggs, though, right? The tongue wrapping.
Yeah, the tongue.
And you get the little joke about it's like hold your tongue, and then the cat is like, allow me.
Yeah, cat got your tongue.
So good.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Boggs getting choked to death by her own tongue, cartoonishly pulled out of her head and wrapped around her neck. All right, there we go. McMurder of the movie. We did it. Now it's time for
Judgment categories.
So, kind of lost the plot halfway through that attempt at a sound effect. So, but
that was good.
Yeah, sure. As fans know, the judgment categories are where we give a letter grade to 5 categories, those being story and writing, acting, effects, music and sound design, and then finally cult factor, that little X factor that makes these movies so special. So story and writing, we'll start with. Here's the thing, I was like really worried about going back to this because I knew that it had like the combination of like a creature feature mixed in with a college like raunchy comedy, and raunchy comedy movies from like the 80s and 90s have aged so poorly, and it's so hard for me to watch them. And so like I was really worried about like how badly this would age, and it did. Don't get me wrong, it aged badly in many ways, but I think that adding the Ghoulies to it sort of makes it like there's no logic to it. It's like a fake world, like it's a cartoon logic So I was actually like able to enjoy those aspects a little more because it's like, oh, I mean, this is a world where an ornate toilet in a fraternity house can give us ghoulies from a comic book. Like that's just where we live now.
Yeah, as cartoonish as it was, like, it never felt like deviant in the way that like Revenge of the Nerds feels now. Like,
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah,
what a rough
I
one
think
that is.
the cartoon element 1,000% helps it out in that.
No,
So-
I agree with you.
Yeah, you guys
So
have
we-
an idea where you want to put it?
Well, you're the guest. Why don't you start it off there?
I think that, like, still going with the cartoon logic of this movie, whenever you frame it like that, like the writing within those bounds makes a lot more sense to me. And then plus, like, a lot of the jokes landed for me surprisingly well. Like, she was on Newhart. Like, what a coincidence! Like, there are a lot of good one-liners and stuff in this, so I feel comfortable giving it a B.
Yeah, I'm good with a B. I think there's still parts of the DNA that are like the panty raid stuff and kind of like the leering, like male gaze elements of it that still don't quite hold up well enough, even with giving it a wide berth in terms of cartoon logic. So I don't think I'd be comfortable giving it more than a B. But I will say that I think that a big part of why it works so well is because of the performances, specifically Kevin McCarthy's, which we'll get into in acting. But I'm good with B. How you feel, Shane?
Yeah, I think B's fair. I'm like B leaning A. Like it's a pretty wild story, right? I kind of like the fact it's like, okay, haunted frat house, summon demon, like, toilet monsters, maniacal dean of the college. You know what I mean? Like I thought it had a lot of stuff going for it, but I get that some of the stuff doesn't hold up still. And there were some continuity issues with like, I think a lot of it had to do with editing. But yeah, I think a solid B is fair.
Yeah, we'll give it a solid B. B for Ghoulies.
Bagul.
All right. Next up is acting. Anyone want to take the lead on this one?
I
You want me to
think
take the lead on this one?
I think that the acting knocked it out of the park. I think Kevin McCarthy, especially, speaker. He's already Speaker of the House, and then
Okay. And that's also not even accurate.
well, okay, so
It's that Mike What's His Nuts. Is
yes,
Mike
Mike
What's His
Johnson.
yeah, almost.
Yeah, you were
I
close.
like Mike. What's his name? Better.
But anyway, yeah, no, Kevin McCarthy like brought those chops out. Like you could tell he was just having a blast, hamming it up, being as evil as possible. Like he goes from semi-reasonable to just off his rocker, and everybody else did a fine job.
There was that moment though where Kevin McCarthy, like when he's talking to the rat ghoul, he's like my ghoulish friend, and I was like, oh, he's won me over completely with this performance. Like I didn't realize how thoroughly I was won over until he delivered the line, my ghoulish friend, and I was just like on board with it.
Yeah, but I'd say that everybody else is buoyed by the weight of his performance, and so like everyone else did their jobs, and that's enough for it to be an A. Yeah, I give that an A.
Yeah, a lot of the fraternity guys were just kind of like dime a dozen, but you had John R. Johnston, as Heilman, and he was like a appropriately sleazy kind of trash villain. He's like a bad dude. Like, I really enjoyed Eva LaRue as Erin Riddle a lot. I thought she did a really good job. Like, I think some of the choices that her character makes are kind of weird, but she's trying to shock this like dude Skip into like growing up a little bit, and does successfully. So it kind of makes sense for her character to behave that way. And like you said, she gets a lot of good one-liners out there.
Oh, yeah.
Like she makes some jabs and barbs. It's like really great. I think probably the weakest link of the principal cast is probably Skip. And that's by design. Like he's meant to be kind of like, I don't know, kind of childish, kind of
he's
silly, kind of
one-dimensional.
making,
Yeah.
kind of making bad decisions and stuff until he doesn't anymore. And then by then it's almost too late. So I can overlook that. So I actually, almost on the strength alone of Kevin McCarthy's performance and then the voice performances of all of the Ghoulies voice actors, I was probably going to go A.
Yeah, I could see A. I think there were tropes. Everyone played a trope and they did it well. I think some of the characters were really shallow because of that trope that they were trying to fit, right? They didn't have to add too much to it. So yeah, I think A is fair.
Nice.
Nice.
Did you agree, McMurray?
I do.
don't know if you
Yes,
said already.
I'm right there with you on A.
Excellent. Well, then next up we have effects.
Look, this guy's a legend. I mean, they had look, Krang, like Chekhov's Krang, Ghoulies. I mean, all the crazy pranks that they pulled off, even though like some were childish, but you know, other pranks were done well. There was explosions. I mean, what else do you want? There's toilet monsters. Like, this was awesome.
I like the part when the rat ghoulie hits the cat ghoulie at the first instance of Pancake, and you see the stars.
Yeah,
they're like animated
so
on the
good.
screen. That's so funny.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if that was a power of theirs, like if they could manifest weird shit like that, but we don't get into it. But.
And things like Ragnar's office was like appropriately spooky, and like I really, really appreciated the Chekhov's Krang, and especially Mini Krang. Like that Mini Krang looked good for like being stop motion on a comic book cover. Like
just a quick one-off shot. Yeah, but it was still good. Yeah, it was effective.
The tongue, that was a crazy effect. Even the plunger, plunger looked great.
The tongue and the plunger were very like Tim Burton-y.
Yeah.
Like they reminded me of Beetlejuice specifically.
Yep.
So
this was this is before that.
Yep.
So
wait, was it?
Was it before Beetlejuice?
No, Beetlejuice was 89.
I thought Beetlejuice was like
I thought it was 92. I could be wrong. My bad.
It came out the same year as Batman.
You're right.
It came out
88. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So but yeah, no, but I think one of the like things that like doing this podcast has changed my opinions is like I always used to think of like special effects as being like this spectacle thing, but here's the thing: like a big part of this movie is the Ghoulies just being there and existing, and they are not real; they are puppets of like in a space. And the way that they're able to hide the fact that they're puppets a lot of the time and still make it seem like they have a sense of like purpose and weight and like existence in the world, I think is really effective. So yeah, at the end of the day, like once you think about it, like all of these things and this how goofy and silly it is, and sometimes it looks bad, but like bad in a fun way. Like I'd go A.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. It's like especially I really liked how wet the Ghoulies were. Like even after they got out
They're
of the
so wet. They're always so wet.
Constantly wet. Even the furry ones.
They always have wet faces. Those are some wet boys.
Do you think it was somebody's job to mist the Ghoulies?
It's gotta, it had to be. Somebody was out there doing it.
Nah, they're pre-misted, man. Self-misting Ghoulies.
Self-misting. What about you, Shane? Are you down with the A for the?
For sure.
Well, then that brings us to the music.
So I thought the music helped. Like it's really what helped amplify the cartoon aspect of this. Because it's like really heavy xylophone and it's like zany, it's like up tempo, like this kind of music only works in something like this, and I thought it helped bring the atmosphere that was necessary. And then plus, I mean, come on, having a party with the song "There's a Party Going On," perfect. Like, come on, couldn't have picked a better song for that. How else would I have known there was a party going on?
They had to let me know. Yeah, I think that it was like one of the first like opening scenes, like the music was just like that, like kind of cheap sounding, but like up tempo and kind of like it's not like the kind of music I usually like, which is like heavy synth like stuff from the 80s and stuff. But like it had such a, and it's so interesting because this one, it has such a Charles Band, like Empire Pictures, like Full Moon Features kind of vibe to the music. But this was actually the one that Charles Band had to sell the rights to Ghoulies. So they produced, Empire, I think, produced Ghoulies 1 and 2. But this one, he had to sell the rights in order to help keep Empire Pictures afloat, I believe, because it was like having financial problems. So even though this isn't a Charles Band production, it still has like the music and the sensibility of it, which is like one of those things like where it feels a little cheap, but I also love it. So if that makes any sense.
Yeah, tonally it fit too. Like even like the goofy kind of parts. Like it kind of set the, like, you know, kind of we talked about earlier with like the cartoon stuff. Like I think it really set the tone for like what was kind of going to go on in the movie. So yeah, I think they did actually a pretty good job. Usually I'm pretty against 80s, late 80s, early 90s movies that don't have like synth music in it, but I think they did a good job kind of rounding that out.
All right, well then let's do A. I don't have any problem doing A.
Yeah, I'm there with you. Yep.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah. Plus, like another thing about it is the sound design. I think the sound was good. Like it, you know, it had a sense of weight to it, like when it needed to.
Yeah, there were a couple. So there were a couple times where they did I hate when they overdub, but like they kind of had to. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, because it wasn't the Ghoulies' actual voices. I know. I was really annoyed by that.
No, so like when the janitor lost the.
No, I knew you wouldn't like that part. Yeah, the beginning.
Yeah, it was overdubbed.
Like how that was kind
pissed
of
me off. But
yeah.
What are you gonna do? You can't. Like sometimes you have to.
They got out of the way early, and they just moved on from it, so it's okay. Well, then that brings us to our final category, the cult factor.
F.
That little X factor that makes these movies so special. You can't do an F. Do a G for Ghoulies. I mean, it's always going to be A for me. Like they'd have to light me on fire in order for me not to give an A at cult factor. But
yeah, this one's got it. I mean, it's so goofy. It's so fun. Like, I mean, it's not going to scare anyone, but like, man, is it a blast.
It does lean way more into the comedy side of horror comedy. Like I said earlier, it's like almost no horror. I think the only horror thing is like just the Ghoulies exist and are around. Like, and I do appreciate that. Like sometimes when you watch these like comedies from the 80s and 90s, and then you have to be like, all right, well, remember that this is going to be like a sex crime, basically. It's like there's still elements to that, but it's not like egregious. Like I wouldn't feel uncomfortable like recommending this to somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a big thing. And you just can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong with that Kevin McCarthy performance, dude. What an absolute lunatic. Like that late in his career, it's just like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do Ghoulies 3, Ghoulies Go to College, and just play it as big as possible. Why not?
Yeah, he earned every cent of that paycheck. So yeah, this is definitely. I'm gonna go an Emma Stone feature here and call this Easy A.
Oh, okay. All right.
Do you want to revisit your F, Shane? Can we possibly get it to
A? It was gonna be A until you made that Easy A joke, and then
I didn't make it.
Nah, it's definitely A for sure.
Arthur Fonzarelli. Well, then. Now that we finish up our judgment categories, it's time for our next hat on a hat. The other thing that we don't need to have, but we have it anyway because you can't stop us. And it's the D-roll. The D-roll is the one where we just slot it into one more category because why not? And those categories are cult classic, B-movie, grindhouse, or trash. Hopefully we never do trash, but if we do,
we're sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry to ourselves too for having to go through it.
Yeah, we're pre-screening stuff now that we don't know what it is. So
after the death ship fiasco,
that was my bad.
I mean, I'm probably gonna go cult classic. It's been a long time for me of the Ghoulies series, and I have always liked Ghoulies 2 the most. That's been my favorite Ghoulies. Like, they're like Ghoulies 1 is fine, but it's just a little bit too much like nothing really happening. Just like this dude like hanging out, reading from an old spell book while Ghoulies just chitter around in the background, and it only gets like good in like the last like 20 minutes or so. But Ghoulies 2 is like consistently good, and I always kind of like overlooked Ghoulies Go to College. But like coming back to it, I'm like, this is some good Ghoulies action. Like they talk now, they have one-liners. Like maybe they talk too much, but that's fine because like it's all about volume, baby. If they say enough things, some of them are bound to be funny.
It's true.
So
That's my philosophy.
yeah. Yeah. So like I'm cult classic, but I could be swayed if you guys wish to try to sway me.
Swayed by who? Barkus alone? Fucking cult classic.
Yeah, I'm right there with the cult classic.
With the Barkus, thanks. Yeah.
Well,
Not the
even
Barkus.
despite Barkus can. I looked up one credit for Barkus, and then I got tired of him. So that's as
Damn,
much
dude.
research as I even did on Barkus. But this may come as a
He's in
surprise.
so many things.
But so this is. I mentioned earlier that I don't have a lot of horror movie experience. And I've always had an interest in this sort of like Gremlins-esque type of movie. And this may come as a surprise. This is my first Gremlins-like movie that I've ever seen. Coming in on the third installment of a Gremlins clone.
How?
Yeah. Hey man,
How do you avoid the
Have you seen Gremlins?
no. I've not seen
what?
Gremlins 1 or 2. I've not seen Ghoulies.
You not seen
I've
Gremlins 2, the new batch?
I've not seen Critters. I haven't seen like Troll. I haven't seen Leprechaun.
Munchies?
But I'm part of the so.
I mean, the Munchies is believable.
To
Munchies on the
to
list.
part the kimono a little bit here. Whenever we were talking about having me on, I made a suggestion of I want to see like a Gremlins like, and Shane brought up Ghoulies 3, and I was like, heck yeah, let's do it. But it's specifically because I haven't seen any of them, and I think that I would like movies with some freaky little guys in them, and that's exactly what this was. This is exactly what I was hoping for.
So I will say that this movie fucking rocks, dude.
Yeah.
Some of the other ones aren't as like, some of them lean more one way, like maybe more horror-y, not horror, but like more towards like that genre than this one does. I think this is like the perfect way to dip your toe into this kind of genre, like the Critters, like the creature feature genre. So for anyone listening, it's like never seen creature features, I would start here. Unless you have like weird problems with small toilet monsters. So
No, give me more.
Good call, man.
Give me those freaky little guys.
I mean, I do. This is really good, but Critters 2 in the main course might be.
You'd start someone on Critters 2, though. I think this is a good starting point because
it's too much of a banger. Everything else will disappoint you. You're right. Yeah, like this one's like a good one to like level set expectations. Like it's really really good, but it's also like not the gold standard. But then like at the same time though, I would then tell them just to avoid outright like Munchies entirely. So
yeah, you don't say.
You don't say.
Yeah. Well, I think we did it. This was a crazy experience. Just living through the whole Ghoulies go to college. I think that adding the third host was awesome. We really appreciate you coming out.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Or staying peeled.
Yeah, McMurray, way to go. You did it.
Next time you guys do a movie with some freaky little guys, just invite me on. I'll be there.
I have some ideas I'm kicking around
about freaky little guys.
We'll see when it ends up happening. Yeah. But I do have thoughts on the matter.
Well, do you have thoughts on what's next?
I do. Yeah. We're gonna do the thing that we haven't done yet on this show, and we're gonna do a zombie movie. Well, I guess technically, Supernaturals was sort of zombies, Confederate zombies, but we're gonna do a proper zombie movie. We used to live in a proper country, you see. So what we're gonna do is the one, the only Return of the Living Dead. Bwomp, bwomp.
Fanfare.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big one. This is going to be a big deal. So obviously it's on Tubi. It's got to be. It's on Roku channel, Pluto TV. I'm showing it on like Hoopla. I'm showing it on Amazon Prime, but Amazon Prime, you always take that with a grain of salt. Same thing with YouTube. It says it's on YouTube, but you never know.
Yeah.
But if you just want to watch it, I would say that Tubi is probably solid. Tubi and Pluto TV, both of them free apps, easy, get it done. So there you go. Returning to one of our scream queens from a previous episode, Night of the Demons, with Linnea Quigley.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I think her character's name is Trash. And it's like, and if you're wondering, does Linnea Quigley get completely naked in this movie like she does every movie? Yes, she does. Obviously, that's her thing. So there you go.
If you were wondering,
so in case you were wondering, the Return of the Living Dead next time.
Cool. Well, I guess just to kind of wrap this up, so McMurray, why don't you go through your shout outs again? That way, everyone makes sure they follow you all over on your socials.
Yeah, go ahead and check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We post a lot on Instagram mostly, so that's probably the best place to check us out. And also we've got all our music on Spotify and all those music apps. So that's Rebel Revolver. So check us out if you want to hear more sounds that are kind of like the Chopping Mall episode, except not because it's like rock, but whatever.
Well, it's blues punk, right?
Blues punk, yes.
Blues punk.
So good.
That's awesome.
And since if anyone who's like local to the Pittsburgh area, like follow them on their socials to see when they're going to be playing, because they play live shows a lot and they're always a lot of fun. So get out there.
Oh, I just
support local music.
We actually just got word that we're going to be playing the Millville Music Festival. Not sure which stage or time.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, Millville Music Festival this year.
Dude, let's hope it doesn't rain.
Oh, awesome.
Oh yeah, that's all right. We'll play either way.
Well,
you damn right you will.
A lot of the venues there are indoor too, though. So like, there's
for sure.
That doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Although I think the Millville Music Festival? It was like so hot. It was like the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
That was 2 years ago.
Hopefully it's not that either.
Last year rained.
Was that 2 years ago?
Sucked, and we were in an outdoor.
Yeah, it was like a
stage,
torrential downpour.
Yep.
Oh yeah. There's that huge like that came out of nowhere, right? That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
That's all right.
Well, hopefully it doesn't do that.
We'll rock in any weather.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
Well, that was the Ghoulies Go to College, which is the third installment in the Ghoulies series. And
do not watch Ghoulies 4. Do not do it. Do not.
Don't do it. But again, special thanks to McMurray and all of Rebel Revolver. You guys have always supported us and helped us out, so it was great you could come on the show. Please go follow their stuff. I've listened to their album probably like 12 or 15 times now. It's very good. So check it out. But yeah, that's all I had today. I don't know if you guys had anything else you wanted to dip into.
No, I'm good.
No, I have this box set of Tales from the Crypt I need to break into, so I'm ready to hit the old dusty trails.
Okay. Well, in that case, I've been Shane.
I've been Stefan.
I've been McMurray.
Pancake?
Hey.
Pancake? Keep it spooky.
Spook 'em up.
He thought he was in control. How wrong he was.
Bye.
Come to the dark side, drive-in. It's the dark side, drive-in. Come to the dark side, drive-in. It's the dark side, drive-in movie club. From Dynamis Media comes a horror cyclopedia, watching movies from the gates of hell. Covers ripped from a blockbuster shell. Officer Bosch is the only good cop. Jugs and the stuff just can't be stopped. Things get hairy and the werewolf's there. Turn the corner and the prowler is there. It's the dark side driving. It's the dark side driving. Come to the dark side driving. It's the dark side driving movie club. the one who runs the show. He produces and keeps the flow. The Savini of the ones and twos. Only Jack Cordell has bigger shoes. Steffan does the bulk of the research. His descriptions just can't be besmirched. Lots of synopses are the top of lore. Just like Lamson, you'll be begging for more. It's the dark side driving. It's the dark side driving. Come to the dark side driving. It's the dark side driving movie club.
From the deepest corner of the darkest universe, two brave hosts battle through nameless hordes of ghoulish monsters most foul, all to bring you the eternal glory of the Dark Side Drive-In.
It's the dark side driving. It's the dark side driving. Come to the dark side driving. It's the dark side driving movie club. It's the dark side driving. Come to the dark side driving.